Okay, and give me 1 second. Let me just go live on IG. All right, there we go. All right, we are live. What's up, everybody? All right, welcome to another session of the Golf Club Podcast Wednesday Hot Topic, live out of San Francisco on this beautiful Wednesday night. As you guys can see, we have a panel of beautiful ladies and fellas here tonight, and we have another great hot topic for you guys to discuss. So, as always, for everybody that always tunes into my live show, thank you so much. If you see value in the content, the best way to support the channel is to smash that like and subscribe button real quick. Don't forget, this is a virtual public show. I know if you're watching this for the first time, I know a lot of you guys always reach out to me on Instagram asking me, how do I join the podcast? You're not from the Bay and you're not from Cali. The best way to join is on my Wednesday shows where it's virtual. As you guys can see on the screen tonight, the link is in the description on YouTube. So if you're watching this from Instagram, X, Twitch, or Facebook, come over to YouTube, and the link is in the description of this video, and you'll be able to click on that link and jump on as a virtual guest from anywhere in the world using your phone, and like a video Zoom call, and jump on and be part of tonight's panel. So I do want to extend that invite for you guys. If you guys watch my channel, you guys know I have an open mind. I like to hear from different opinions. Whether we agree or disagree. So click on that link and be able to jump on and be part of the panel. Don't forget, thank you so much for everybody that supports the channel. If you do want to share your voice and opinion, drop it through a super chat. I'll be able to put it on the screen, give you guys a shout out, and also respond to a lot of the questions or topics that you guys may have regarding tonight's topic. So I do appreciate you guys watching. And of course, if you want to support the channel and donate to the channel, just drop it through a super chat. I'll be able to give you a thank you and shout out as well. Thank you so much for everybody that always supports the channel. Just a quick shout out to my sponsor real quick, Global Financial Impact. So if you're looking for financial services, they're a financial services company. Reach out to Savannah and their team. They can help you guys with tax advantage, wealth strategies, college fund for your kids, debt management. I know a lot of you guys struggle with debt and you feel like you can't get out of it. They can help you structure a plan to help you towards being debt free. If you want to learn how to be a family bank, to teach you guys how to create your own bank with life insurance and living benefits, legacy planning to learn how to add financial independence to your future and your name, and of course, business ownership programs. Have you ever thought about being an entrepreneur? So shout out to Savannah and her team, definitely for always supporting and sponsoring the show. All her information and her services is in the description of this video on YouTube. Go reach out to Savannah, and she's also Pacific Islanders. So if you want to support other Pacific Islanders, reach out to Savannah as well. But that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all my YouTube stuff. Let's get that live chat popping and let me know what you guys think about the channel. And of course, for all the ninja watchers out there that always creep in on my channel, watching silently but never say anything, say something tonight. Come out your shell, come out the closet, and start participating. So, but nevertheless, let's get right into it, ladies. Shout out to the ladies one more time, and the fellas. All right. Thank you for making the time, for being part of tonight's podcast. I'm excited to have you guys all on here. And if you guys don't mind, I'll pass it back to you guys. If you guys can go ahead and give yourself a quick intro for everybody out there. Just your name, what do you do, and what's your relationship status? And we'll go right into it. I'll start with you, Nadia.
Hi. Hi, my name is Nadia. Day job would be operations manager, side gig artist, and podcaster. And I am single.
All right. Thank you so much, Nadia. Appreciate you for jumping on tonight. Excited to have you on the show. We'll keep it moving. I'll pass it to you, Nicole. Go ahead and give yourself a quick intro.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nicole. I go by Nikki. I live in Las Vegas, and I'm a corporate event planner. My relationship status is single. However, I was married for 12 years, and I divorced 3 years ago. And the dating pool is different. Let me tell you that. A decade later, everything changed.
Facts. All right. It's kind of scary out there for a lot of people, right? All right. Thank you so much, Nicole. Excited to have you on the show. We'll keep it moving. I'll pass it to you, Paloma. Go ahead and give yourself a quick intro for everyone out there.
Sure. Hi, I'm Paroma, and I'm currently doing my master's in clinical mental health counseling, and also working online. Basically, I have a website and online-based, like rental subscription-based website, which is Nandini's Closet, in case you want to check it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm married.
All right, nice. Okay, thank you so much. All right, good to have you, Paroma, on the channel. Excited to have you on here and excited to have the discussion with you. And I'll pass it to you, Feminine Dimensions. Go ahead and give yourself a quick intro for everyone out there.
Yeah, I am Jasenia. I am a life coach, dating coach, manifestation coach, and I am in a relationship right now.
All right. Thank you so much, Feminine Dimensions. Appreciate you. Thank you for jumping on for tonight. Thank you, ladies. Pass it to the fellas. Thank you for Manic. Thank you for jumping on, being part of the panel. But I'll start with you, Jerk. Go ahead and give yourself a quick intro for everyone out there.
All right, I'm the Sophisticated Jerk. I am a short order chef at McDonald's. No, I'm just joking. I'm a director of acquisitions coming from VA. I'm 44 and I'm married.
All right. Thank you so much, Jerk.
Hey, we was gonna hype you up. We were gonna be like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was calling the McDonald's. I said, okay. I should have ran with that a little bit. No, I'm just...
No, I got to call Cap and the ladies. The ladies going to be like,
yeah, they was like, they was going to start IGing me like Indeed links and shit. Start applying for jobs.
all right. So thank you so much, Zerk. Always good to have you on the panel. And I'll pass it to you, Manic. Thank you for jumping on. Go ahead and give yourself a quick intro for everyone out there.
Yeah, can y'all hear me? I was having some
Yes,
technical
sir.
difficulties
Yes, sir.
with my mic. All right. I'm the Manic Genius. I work in acquisitions. Divorced as well. Married 8 years before my divorce 2 years ago. So yeah, I'm just yeah.
All right.
That's it.
Thank you so much, Manic. All right. Thank you for jumping on. And shout out to you, Jerk. Thank you for the super chat. Said, Will, thanks for bringing me out and letting me drink all your gava. All right. So it was definitely good to see you and meet you for the first time when you flew out last week. Thank you so much, Jerk. That was definitely a great show. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I see Zion on the live chat. Good to see you, RNTY1. Good to see you in the live chat. Let's get that live chat popping. I do start to see the audience going up a little bit. So if you guys are hearing this, definitely get the live chat popping and get it active and let me know what you guys think. All right. But don't forget, if you're tuning in for the first time, this is a public show. So if you do want to join in and be part of the panel from anywhere in the world, the link is in the description on YouTube. Click on that link and you'll be able to join in from your phone. Okay. But we'll go right into it. The topic we're going to be discussing today is do men and women always find better in dating? Is the grass always greener on the other side? So I saw this clip real quick. It's about a minute and 10 seconds. You guys know the actress Tia Mowry?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she was discussing, because I don't know if you guys know about her situation, but she just had a divorce. She was in a 14-year relationship, and she decided to end the relationship. And then she was discussing how she regrets it because, like Nicole said, she got out of her marriage and started to see how scary it is in today's dating world, which is a lot different compared to 14 years ago. And now she's starting to have doubts. Did she make the right decision? Because the grass is not always greener on the other side. So let me play this clip. Clip real quick, just to give some context, and I'll pass it back to the panel. You guys can also react to the clip, and also you guys can share your opening statements about the topic. So I see Pada on the live chat. Hey, what's up, Pada? Good to see you on the live chat. It's always good to have you on the panel and on the to hear from you. But let me play the clip real quick, and I'll come back to the panel. And as you're reacting to the clip, definitely let me know what you guys think on the about the topic.
In the dating world now.
Very tough, and it is exhausting.
It's exhausting.
I want to throw the towel in. someone had told me, and I wanted to be like, no, I disagree with you, and I don't want to believe it. My last relationship, when dating was, when I was, dating this person, it was beautiful. It was amazing. It was wonderful. There was courting that was, involved. And I was saying how I feel like that's no longer, present, meaning like people just don't court each other anymore. And this person was like, well, that's old news. Like people just don't do that anymore. There's just this whole new way of doing it. You mentioned tradition, and I think that's where it kind of needs to go back to, where, a man is courting a woman and showing her, how much he appreciates her and wants her and loves her, or wants to be with her. They have this mentality right off the bat that there is someone else. Do you know what I mean? Like there could be someone else.
Is it that they're the prize?
Yes.
We talking deep here.
Yes.
We about to get into it.
Oh my God, that the man is the prize.
The man is the prize.
Yes. I'm talking loud. Yes. Also, it seems as if men are now just looking at women as objects.
All right.
God, the streets are undefeated.
So that was the clip of Tia Mowry. So, but yeah, I do want to discuss: do men and women always find better in dating, and is the grass always greener on the other side? I know we all live in 2024. We live in modern dating. We have casual relationships. We have dating apps. I've done this podcast for a long time. I've heard both men and women talk about, I got options, I got a roster. I want the 1% men, I want the 1% woman, I want a high value man, I want the high value woman. I deserve this, I deserve that. I'm the prize. The man is the prize. The woman is the prize. I've heard it all. I've heard it all on these podcasts. But there's this, based on my personal opinion, I'm more traditional when it comes to my dating philosophy, but I do see there's a breakdown in family in Western society, especially in America, that family is no longer the intention or purpose of dating no more. People have other motives when it comes to dating. It's no longer centered on something when it comes to building a family and raising healthy children. So there's this mentality for both men and women that they can always find somebody better because we have all of these options that we see online. So people are always trying to seek that next best thing. So oftentimes, both men and women, they might find themselves in a situation where they have a good partner or they find somebody they're compatible with, but they think that the grass is greener on the other side. So they'll leave something that's good and stable to seek something that they think they deserve based on what they think or their value is when it comes to dating. So I would like to hear your perspective. We got some single people on this panel. We got some married people on this panel. So it's going to be a great discussion tonight to hear from both perspectives. And we have some people on the panel that just came out of a relationship and realized the dating market today is totally different and a lot more scarier than ever before. So I've had married guests on my panel before. I remember one lady specifically, she told me that she was already married, but she saw the dating market today. She's like, hell no, I'm going back to the dating market.
That's what I said. I was like, they make me want to get back with my ex-husband because at least I was courted, whatever Tia said, at least I was courted then. At least the intentions were there. I mean, now the woman that I am, I will never get back with him. He's happily in a relationship, but that doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, that's true. And that lady she shared, she told me that's what motivates her to keep her relationship doing well, because she does not want to go back and date again. All right, so that's her motivation to make it work with her husband. So I'm interested to hear what you guys have to think. But also in the live chat, let me know what you guys think. Lovely World, I see you in the live chat. Lovely World, good to see you. But let's get those likes up. Let's get that live chat active. But I'll pass it back to the panel. Let me know what you guys think. What's your reaction to the video, and also what's your opening thoughts and perspective on the topic? All right, so let me start with you, Feminine Dimensions. Do men and women always find better? Do they always find better when it comes to dating? And is the grass always greener on the other side? Go ahead.
Well, we know. I mean, we know that can be. So it's an illusion sometimes. When you think that you're going to find better, can be an illusion, right? Sometimes you get together with someone, and sometimes you outgrow the person, and then there is no other choice but to part ways, because that is, I think, what happens in most relationships. You outgrow each other, and if you don't grow together, that is when there is like a breaking point. And so, no, a lot of people, sometimes you break up with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, and because you're so mad and triggered, right? Because you don't want to change, you don't want to grow up, you don't, your ego is very fragile. And then so you think that you're going to find somebody that is not going to trigger you, someone that is not going to hurt you, and you're looking for an illusion. Because relationship, like long lasting relationships, I've been in a relationship for like 3.5 years, and it has not been easy. It's right now, I think we are at a point where relationships between the feminine and the masculine energies are changing. This is transformation. What is happening right now is, but what happens anytime that you have to grow out of the old ways, it is going to be painful. So I think there's a lot of toxicity in the air. And it's good, because that way we can see it. If we don't see it, we're not going to correct it. And so if the grass is greener, I think most of the time the grass is green where you water it.
Exactly.
Where
Yep.
you work. Yeah, you have to work on it. Yeah, sure. Sometimes when you're in a relationship for 3 and 4 years, the passion kind of sort of diminish a little bit. You don't feel the same infatuation. You don't feel the same passion, because, I mean, let's be honest, eating chicken every day can be boring sometimes. And it is. Having the same person, having knowing the person, and then sometimes I think that's when the game, right? The game of dating, you still have to have it in a relationship sometimes, because the ego likes to take the other person for granted, and sometimes we get bored, and then we think, yeah, the other person looks more exciting, more attractive, right? And then we jump, and then only to like, we don't quite match. So now I'm gonna go back to the other person, because I already knew the person. That person is familiar. I already know everything. And that passion, that sort of like the shiny thing, it kind of fades away pretty quick. So yeah, no, I think the grass is green where you water it. So,
All right. All right. Thank you
Well, I
so
was
much.
a little offended by that chicken remark. I love chicken. So I just,
I don't. Oh, chicken is the most boring thing that you can order in a restaurant.
So I'm just gonna spice it a little different, and you'd be good to go. All right. Thank you so much, Feminine Dimension. Definitely dropped some gems. Thank you for your perspective, but we'll keep it moving. I'll pass it to you, Nadia. Nadia, do men and women always find it better in dating? As is the grass always greener on the other side? Go ahead, Nadia.
I really agree with Feminine Dimensions, everything that she said, because when it comes to relationships and how you approach them, you have to grow with each other. It's not just you just date and then you're in a relationship and then it's just supposed to work forever. It's something that you really have to work to make successful. And it's not always easy. It can be very frustrating because you realize that you cannot control another person. You can't control the way somebody grows. You can't control the way somebody learns. And the second that you relinquish the control that you feel like you should have over a partner and start focusing on you and how you grow, right? Either that person's going to grow with you or they're not. And, that's it's a hard pill to swallow, but, at the end of the day, you're with somebody for who they are, not who you want them to be. And if they are at a space, right, where you feel, okay, they're not meeting me where I am anymore. It doesn't seem like they want the effort, it doesn't feel like they want to keep up or want to keep going, right? You can't sit there and beat a dead horse and hope for them to change. It's either they want that for the relationship and for themselves, or they don't. And, there's no amount of threatening or, contingencies that you can apply, because then everybody ends up being unhappy. The grass truly is greener where you water it. Of course, a new relationship is going to be awesome almost every single time, but can you make it work for 3, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, right? Like most of our parents that are still together, or our grandparents that stayed together for like fucking 50 years, that shit is not easy. You want to fucking throw a toaster at your fucking partner at least a couple of times in your relationship if you're with them for 30 goddamn years. I'm sorry. It's just, it takes a lot of work. And I can tell you, my grandmother, she still gets pissed off at my grandfather, but he loves the hell out of her and she loves the hell out of him. It just takes a lot of work and a lot of patience. And if you guys are willing to grow together, it'll work.
All right. All right. Thank you so much. What I got from Nadia is, fellas, work on your dodging skills. Okay. If you want the relationship to work, you got to dodge some stuff.
Yep.
So Nadia, really quick, do you think it's greener on the other side?
No. No, I don't. I think that, like I said, it's where you water it, where you apply yourself personally, and what your goal is when it comes to dating. Because I feel some people have a lot of unrealistic expectations for. It's like that whole magpie idea, right? Like you're looking for the shiny thing, the shiny object, and you're going to be chasing nothing. You're going to be chasing a pipe dream. Anybody that's seen The Notebook and thinks that relationships are perfect should know damn well, all right? Because The Notebook, they were difficult as hell with each other. But everybody, I feel like almost everybody's seen The Notebook, right? Where they have that scene where he's just like, what do you want? He's just like, I'm going to tell you when you're being a pain in the ass, and you tell me when I'm being an asshole, right? So it's all about being willing to communicate. And I feel like people don't really want to communicate anymore. Not honestly, and without, that whole, I see it a lot, like the whole threatening thing. Like, if you don't do this, I'm going to do this. If you don't do this, it's like, no, it's either, do you want to do this or do you not want to do this? And if you don't want to do this, and that's a deal breaker for you, move on. It's one of those things. You have to decide where your deal breakers are. What is something that you absolutely do not want to compromise on? Like, if your partner, I can only speak from a female perspective, right? But like for me, if I have a male partner and let's just say he's not really wanting to step into his masculine, so he wants to go, like, this is a really hot topic, right? 50-50 on the bill. Like he wants to go 50-50 all the time on everything, right? And I'm a person, let's just say I'm a person that doesn't want to go 50-50. I'm Hispanic. I come from a Latin household, and I was not raised like that. My dad always paid for everything for my mom. My grandfather was the same. I come from a long line of just, that's not how I was raised up, right? And if that's a deal breaker for me, if I meet a guy and he's wonderful in every way, but then I find out that he's 50-50, and that's a deal breaker for me, like that's something that I absolutely cannot go past. I'm not going to sit there for 3 goddamn fucking years trying to make this man change. I'm sorry, I just can't. That's a waste of my time. And I have really dark hair, and the gray will show from the stress. I'm not about to do all that. I'm not about to do all that. My hair is dark as shit, and I'm not gonna stress myself out giving myself gray hair, trying to force somebody to be something that is not in their culture or not in their natural disposition. I just don't think that that's something that anybody, man or woman, should do. This goes from both ends, right? A man shouldn't try to change a woman's culture, however she was brought up, and a woman shouldn't try to change a man's.
Thank you so much, Nadia. Definitely agreed. Definitely against the 50-50 pay for the date. Thank you so much, Nadia. I'll pass it to you, Nicole. Nicole, what do you think? What's your perspective? Do men and women always find better in dating, or is the grass always greener? Go ahead, Nicole.
I mean, I'm going to give my opinion in both. I do think that, the grass is greener where you water it, but I also do believe that there's always better out there. There's always going to be a better car. There's always going to be a better job. It just takes work, and it takes 2 people to want to work on it and agree. You can't change someone. You could inspire them, but you can't change them. And I think right now with social media, everyone thinks that they have all of these options. There's all of these rosters. There's all of these rules that they're like made up as rules. People are, I think, projecting. People are not dealing with trauma. People are projecting trauma to whoever they're dating. And you just have to find someone that's compatible with you. You have to find your same weird. Everyone is weird. You have to find your same weird and be compatible and want to work on it. So I do think, again, like, yeah, there's always something better, but also it's the grass is greener where you want to water it. So a lot of these dating things that are going on right now, it's just like for a hookup, right? It's just for a hookup. They want like just a quick fix. It's trash. You guys need to do better.
Okay. All right.
I think it takes guys longer to be vulnerable. I think, guys, it takes you guys longer to open up. I don't know why it takes you guys longer to be honest. I don't know about you two that are here. I'm just speaking for the dudes that I've dated. I'm speaking for my experience. Just be honest. Be honest. Be true with your intentions. If you want a quick hookup, just say that you want a quick hookup. I might want a quick hookup too. Just be honest, be transparent, and keep it pushing. And you just have to always keep on working on it. And when two people don't want to work on it anymore, when only one person wants to work on it, it's not going to work. That's why my marriage failed, because my ex-husband didn't want to work on it anymore. I can't convince you. I'm going to peace out. I'm the grass. I'm going to go water myself. I'm going to go work on myself. And that's that.
All right. Thank you so much, Nicole.
So Nicole, really quick, you left him?
We grew apart. We married when we were 19. We were 19 and we just grew to be very different people. We didn't work on it for a while, and he ended up cheating on me. He ended up cheating on me the last year, and I ended up leaving the marriage. Yeah, because of that. Okay. I didn't want to stay and fix that. And he moved on. He's had multiple partners. He's doing really good. I've moved on. My dating hasn't been as successful as him. I'm really happy for him. We have 2 kids together, so we do the co-parenting part very, very well. But as I mentioned prior, like, I've joked around with my girlfriends and I'm like, fuck this shit. Y'all want to make me want to go back to my ex-husband. No way. I mean, I would never. We're no longer compatible. We grew apart. We split up when we were 31. But again, when we got married, when it was 2009, when we got married, intentions were clear. We dated with a purpose. We didn't wait, the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years to get married. We dated for about 1.5 years, and we got married after that. Also, I am Hispanic, so I come from a culture that everything is like fast and like you can't be with someone if you're not married with them. But anyway, we loved each other back in the day, right? And we knew that we were each other's person back in the day. And yeah, we grew apart.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Real quick, Will, I do got a question for Nicole. So when you said guys should be honest up front, are you honest with them up front, like with your intentions, say, for the relationship?
I mean, yeah, the times I'm not in any dating apps. I'm not the best in dating because I hear a lot of horror stories from my friends, and coming from like a 12-year marriage that was pretty good, I have a really short tolerance for bullshit. Like, of course, leaving my marriage, I was like, it's okay, it didn't work out. I know I'm gonna get married again. I want to get married again. So when I left my marriage, I was like, it's okay, it didn't work out. I'm gonna find love again. So I came into the dating pool, with an open mind, with an open heart, and I started just running into a bunch of guys that would say things like, yeah, I'm dating with intentions. I want to pursue something long-term with you. They just tell us girls what we want to hear. And typically after the hookup, their phone doesn't work anymore, or, I'm busy, or something like that. So I don't date a lot, but yeah, if I want to hook up with someone and I want to go to the streets and find someone, I'm going to let them know, like, yo, I don't want anything serious. I just want to hook up with you. You guys are very afraid to tell us that back. Why?
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. That's a good question. We'll definitely come back and we can discuss that as an open discussion. But let me just get to Paroma real quick. Paroma, I'll pass it to you. Interested to hear what you have to say. You know, you're married, so I'd like to hear from the married perspective. But what's your opening thoughts about, do men and women always find it better in dating? Is the grass always greener on the other side? Go ahead, Paloma.
I agree with Nicole. Like, men needs to be more upfront and honest, because I think as a woman, we are very clear about what we want. Like, if we are like taking it casually, we can kind of express it. And if we are taking it in like in terms of long term, then we can kind of be honest. It's very easy for women, but I think for men, they just pretend to be like, or it's just my experience, like they are not very clear about what they want. So it's not just into dating, even if it's married. I mean, sometimes they are not clear about if they want to move to a place, or if they want kids or not. They want to be free and do their own stuff and still be married. So those communications are important. And if you are married so early, like in your teens or like very early 20s, you don't know anything. So, like you got married and then you grow as a person, and then everything changes, your perspective changes in life. For instance, you didn't know who you are, and then you kind of, maybe you want kids in the long run, but your partner might not. And so those kind of confusions, those kind of differences kind of come up in the long-term relationships, especially in marriage. So grass can be greener because you didn't know back then yourself pretty well that what you truly want. But when maybe in the marriage or in the relationship, you kind of discovered who you are and what you truly want and got the clarity. So if you want to keep your option open, that okay, now this is who I am and these are my priorities. So if it meets to someone, I should keep my option open rather than just settling down just because I'm married, just because society is wanting you to like kind of, you got married, that's it, sealed. You cannot really want anything else from your life, who you truly are, what aligns with you. So in that situation, I don't believe in cheating. I believe in honesty, especially with your partner, even if you cannot be honest with the whole society and the world, but you should be honest with your partner. I think that's not very difficult, but for men it is. That's also my question, why?
Why?
Why? Yeah, so that's my question. But other than that, grass can be greener, but at the same time, if you are willing to, it's important what you truly want. If you both want to work things out, there's always a will. If there's a will, there's a way. But if you don't really want, then however positive words or however whatever you kind of knowledge you have, it's not gonna work because you don't want it anymore. So
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Paloma. Let me just read some super chats real quick, and I'll pass it back to the fellas to get your opening statements. And Harambe drizzled white dust on Jack, soft guy era, said, "Don't mind me. I'm just here to cyberstalk Nadia." Oh, okay. All right. All right. We got definitely we got an admirer here on the live chat on you, Nadia. Thank you so much. But I see you guys starting to come out on the live chat. What's up, everybody? Good to see you guys on the live chat being part of the show. I see William Graves with Team Fatty. Hey, what's up, Fatty? Good to see you. Big dog barking. Hey, what's up, big dog? And of course, Tim. Good to see you, Tim, on the live chat. I appreciate you guys for starting to tune in. And I see you guys also watching this from X and also from Instagram. I do appreciate you guys. Don't forget, this is a public show, so if you do want to jump on and add on to our discussion, definitely come on YouTube and click on that link in the description, and you'll be able to join in as a public guest. Okay, so thank you, ladies, for your opening statements. So let me pass it to the fellas, and then after the fellas, we'll come back full circle and we get to respond to each other for an open discussion. But I'll pass it to you, Jerk. Go ahead. What do you think, Jerk? Do men and women always find better in dating, and is the grass always greener on the other side? Go ahead, Jerk.
All right, I'm gonna give like two different answers. So for the most part, speaking in general, I'll say no, because I think most people that kind of leave, if they're not leaving under the circumstances, like somebody cheats on them or does them dirty, and it's clean cut like that, then yeah, I think they'll find better because, they're, going to learn from that situation and apply it to the next relationship and find somebody that doesn't have like those, I'll say, negative traits. But I think for the most part, while I would say people are not going to find better, is because a lot of times they are the issue in a relationship. They just don't want to self-reflect and stuff. So a lot of times people are bored. We live in a entitled kind of society where a lot of times people just want to go back to the streets a little bit. That's play around. And so they'll nitpick the person that they're with, kind of just do certain things, start fights. So that way it's like almost like sabotaging the relationship so they could kind of like go out there. And then I think once they get that reality check out there, it's like, oh shit, I probably messed up a good thing and stuff. So I think that's going back to that clip. I think Tia Mowry, that's what she's experiencing. Cause she, I don't think he cheated on her or anything like that, but she kind of broke up the family a little bit. Then now she's getting those experience where it's like, people aren't courting no more. People are getting older. When you get older, it's just like you start realizing people on the other side have lower tolerance too. So, people are looking at red flags just like you're looking at red flags. So they might spot red flags in you and they might just be like, you know what? I'm not dealing with that, So I think a lot of time people don't self-assess and they don't understand the other side. It's like, man, when you're in a relationship or you're dating somebody, it's somebody else that has to be attracted to you also. So your negative traits might be coming out where if you never sat down and, like I said, self-reflected and worked on yourself, that could be coming out up early. So a lot of times where you hear people like, man, I got ghosted. Maybe they just couldn't really tolerate you, So that's like the flip side I see a lot of times. So yeah, I don't think it's green on the other side because a lot of people just don't do that work on themselves.
All right. Thank you so much, Jerk. All right. Jerk coming hard in the paint. All right. We'll keep it moving. I'll pass it to you, Manic. Manic, what do you think? Do men and women always find better in dating? Is the grass always greener on the other side?
I just want to first say, listening to everybody's perspectives, it was very interesting, and I agreed with. There wasn't really anything I heard that I disagreed with. So definitely appreciates everybody's input on the situation. For me, and I'm definitely going to generalize a bit. When you have your shit together, it is greener on the other side. Because as somebody, I definitely agree with the Jerk when he kind of pointed out the two responses. Like if you're coming off of a situation where, there's like infidelity or something like that, like I definitely agree that you should walk away from something like that. Because, there was trust broken at that point. And sometimes that can be irreparable. But, if you are the person where you're just like, nitpicking and stuff, like the grass is not going to be greener on the other side because, when you kind of like grow with somebody, they have a different level of like loyalty and tolerance towards you. So, they can kind of put up with a little bit more versus when you go to meet somebody, they're going to be just as short and looking for those red flags as you are. So, if you're leaving a situation where you're the kind of one where you're just like kind of nitpicking, and it's hard for people sometimes to self-reflect and admit that, hey, I'm the one who kind of fucked this up because I'm just a little bit too much, then the grass won't be greener on the other side. And I think with the clip that you showed, Tia Mowry, she was definitely the one who was, kind of pushing to get back in these streets, thinking that, I can find better. And she's coming to the realization that, damn, I'm the one that's kind of fucked up because these guys nowadays aren't treating me like, my ex-husband used to treat me. And rightfully so, they're not. They don't have that loyalty, towards you. They didn't grow with you. So, the minute you cough the wrong way, they might be out. So, but I think like in the flip side of that, like when you do have your shit together and you really learn from your prior experiences and mistakes and your own personal failures, then the grass is greener because now, like what I think it was, Nadia, where she said that you can't control anybody but yourself. So when you've reached that level of maturity, you can realize, really what type of things you're okay with and what things that are not acceptable. So you can kind of you just have better discernment because you can base so much more on your experience. Like for me, I have a very shorter tolerance, than my younger version of myself. So the minute I spot a little bit of disrespect, I'm out. But I also know who I am and where I'm headed to. So it makes it greener because I can now focus on the women who are like worthy of what I'm looking for.
All right. Thank you so much, Manic. Appreciate that. Yeah, shout out to the panel. Thank you for your opening statements real quick. Let me give a shout out to the live chat. I see Gas Mask on the live chat. Good to see you guys on the live chat. But let's get that live chat active. See the viewership going up. So let's definitely make sure we get those likes up. And if you're a moderator in the live chat, let's get everybody involved and active on the live chat and call out those ninja watchers. I know there's a lot of ninja watchers be creeping all the time. But let's call them out and finally come out the closet tonight to participate on the live chat. All right. So I'll pass it back to you guys on the panel. All of us have had the opportunity to respond and share your perspective. Does anybody here want to add on to what somebody said or respond to what somebody said because you maybe share a different perspective or disagree on what they said?
No, I think we're all on the same page.
I
Sounds
think
like we're on the same page.
everyone's perspective is very interesting. And I think it all correlates to who we are and our experiences. So it's really nice to learn from you guys' experiences, you guys' opinions.
Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna add a little bit to Manic Genius. I love that name, and also I love Sophisticated Jerk.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I love the names. Yeah, So just being because I am in a relationship, I'm realizing how much work it is. Sometimes when we perceive that sort of disrespect from the other person, I don't really think that people wake up and say, I'm going to disrespect you, right? Sometimes,
Oh, yeah, sure.
yeah, there is so much stuff that goes on in relationships. And, somebody can be having a bad day, you can be really edgy, stressed. And then sometimes we take it. I'm telling you, because I was big into that, you're disrespecting me. And I will be quick to say, you know what? I think I can find better. But the thing is, once the trigger, once the anger and all of that was gone, I realized that, wow, the other person had a lot of qualities that made it worth it for me to stay instead of trying to replace them immediately. I don't know why we tend to fall into that ego trap. As soon as we get triggered, we get hurt by the other person's action. And like Nadia said, we can't control the other. And that is the biggest trap in relationships. We think as soon as we meet somebody that we like, we want to own them, possess them. We want to change them.
We want to control the trajectory of how it's going, how fast it's going to go, what they're going to do, how they're going to do it. And it's just like, whoa. Take it day by day, take it second by second, because at some point you might find out that this person is like fucking Joe from You, like he's out here murdering people. You don't really know. Like you really should. I think that's a really big issue now with dating, is that nobody wants to take it slow and actually get to know someone. Like I can tell you, I have really close with my family. I fight with my sister every fucking week. Damn near. I love her. I would do anything for her, but we fight like almost every week. Am I going to disown her from my family circle because I'm fighting with her because, I don't know, she ate my leftovers from the fridge, or she did something, she made a mess out of my bathroom? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like people really need to get down to the core of what relationships are. And it's not just romantic relationships, because what differentiates romantic relationships from any other relationship in your life, be it friendship or familial? The sex is the only difference that there is in pretty much any relationship, because you still have to build bonds and honesty with people. And in any relationship, you have to build trust with them, and you have to build respect. Now, once sex is involved, obviously it changes the dynamic of the relationship, but to what degree, right? Because all those dynamics, those healthy dynamics that you should cultivate in any relationship, should be just as important whether there's sex involved or not. And I feel that people just don't want to go slow to actually get to know somebody, to understand them, because in getting to know other people, you get to know yourself a little bit better too. With every relationship that we have with other people that fails, right, or is successful, we learn a little bit more about ourselves. So like, how was I in this relationship? Did I feel good or did I feel bad in this relationship, right? And I feel like that's something that people really forget. You know, it's that whole reflection period that you should be having. And I talk about that all the time on my podcast about shadow work, or like I call it emotional spring cleaning, where you really have to get through all of that. You can't leave any stone unturned when you are trying to understand why certain things like feminine, like why certain things trigger you to an extent, why we fall into that ego trap of, well, you're disrespecting me and I need to go and find, you know, somebody else, right? So it's not so much, right, trying to, you know, make things work and trying to get this other person to respect you. It's understanding why something that somebody said, right? And this is if it's, you know,
Why
overtly disrespectful.
disrespect?
Yeah.
Why?
Yes, exactly. So it's like if somebody's calling you a bitch, right? Like, oh, fuck you, you're a bitch. It's like, okay, that hurt my feelings. Why are you saying those things to me? Right? That's I feel like that's a very like understandable thing to get upset at. But if it's something small, like, you know, maybe it's for a lot of people, it's like the whole texting thing, right? If somebody doesn't text you back and they're just like, well, you took forever to text me back, so now I'm blocking you because you didn't text me back, right? And it's just like, okay, why is there a fear of somebody taking a while to not text you back? Is it because you have a long string of people dumping you, or was it they were probably busy, got wrapped up in family stuff or whatever? I mean, it's situational, and I think you should take it, as the phrase means, situationally. You need to take it for what it is and not what you think it is or what you want it to be. And I don't feel like people want to do that.
There's no patience. Yeah, there's no
No.
patience on both ends.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
But
So,
can I chime in real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I mean, I agree with you guys are saying, but I do think, you know, what kind of Manic was hitting on when he was talking about the respect and he's out. You know, I think like when you coming out of relationships, and even when you're in one, if somebody crosses them hard boundaries and that lines of disrespect, and like I was saying, when you're going into new relationships, man, you got to kind of learn how to move on faster. So that's what I think he's talking about, where if he sees them red flags early, it's not like you guys said, it can't be based on stupidity or something minor, but you got to move on, because I think what I see a lot of people do, they'll try to like
Stay.
move out of infatuation and like hook up with somebody and like force the relationship, and they end up wasting time, because then it'll be like 2 to 3 years. Then it's just like, you keep getting older, and the data market is kind of shrinking. Father time's undefeated. So it's just like, you do kind of, if you see critical things that don't align to what you kind of want, you do got to move on, so you could put that time into the actual person that you're supposed to be with. So that's why I just wanted to chime in on it.
Well, I think like in the dating process, right? If you're not jumping into the sack immediately, and if you're taking the time to date somebody, you can tell. I think within a 3-month period, you can tell if the person is disrespectful or not. I think for some people, yeah, but a lot of people they just jump into the sack and then call each other again and have a few chats and go do Netflix and chill. And a lot of people confuse that with a relationship, or what it is, a situationship. And then you wonder why one person is not taking things seriously or disrespectful, right?
Well, it's a rush of intimacy because it's really uncomfortable to be intimate with somebody. It's really uncomfortable to have somebody see you for who you are. And I mean like you, not the customer service version of you. I mean the you, right? It's uncomfortable to let somebody see all of you. And it's a lot easier for people to kind of jump and rush intimacy, right? Because they feel like it's kind of like an icebreaker. I feel like sex for a lot of people is like an icebreaker. It's like, well, I already saw you naked, so this should be a lot easier to discuss your family issues. And it's just like, wait a second.
And it makes it a lot harder, I think.
Well, what happens when we have sex, right? There's a bonding hormone, especially in
or at
women's
least
brains.
for us women.
Yeah, there's a bonding hormone, and it happens because our brain has no idea that the man that we're sleeping with is not going to hunt and gather for us. That has no goddamn idea. But there's this chemical concoction that happens when you have sex, and I feel like that muddies everything up. Get to know a motherfucker first. Let him actually understand you first. And if a guy is like, oh no, you're making this really complicated. I just need to know if, you're a good match for me. So I need to see you naked first. It's like, no, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Okay,
I'm
hold
taking
on.
day by day.
Yeah. I finally disagree with something that y'all said. I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it, but like y'all were just cooking and like everything was just like I was like, I agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with that. I disagree with the whole for the feminine dimensions. Like when you said it after 3 months you can like kind of determine if someone's gonna be disrespectful.
I think sooner, right? You could determine right away.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Day
Like,
2 and shit.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
I before 3 months, right?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I would even argue you can. There's definitely different levels of disrespect. There's like this person doesn't realize they're being disrespectful. You can call them out on it. But if it's like inherently in their nature, then yeah, you can find out that pretty quickly. But I think it takes time to communicate and allow someone, or not allow, but just teach someone who you are and what you're going to stand for, and like kind of set those boundaries. So like 3 months, 6 months in, a year in, like somebody can still do something disrespectful to you because they don't perceive it as disrespectful. And if that situation hasn't arose yet, then it's not an opportunity for them to learn like, hey, nah, that's unacceptable. Here's why it's unacceptable.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious. Can you give me an example of what do you deem disrespectful?
Oh man, there's so much.
Run
There's
down
so
the
much.
list.
Really
Okay,
quick.
yeah. I'll do like the initial thing. Like if I meet somebody and there seems to be interesting and we're like messaging and stuff like that, and they're like not responsive, or and I'm okay with somebody responding to me like 24 hours or even 48 hours later, because like I'm busy as hell. So like I understand that other people can be busy too. But the actions have to align, like don't be just, oh, I got a job and then I'm just doing whatever. And like, I'm on like multiple podcasts, like damn near every night. And then I work, and then I have like my business I'm, doing, and then I have my child and responsibility. So I'm not the fastest with, text messages. So but like a call, just hit me up and we're cool. But if somebody can't get on the phone, because text can only go so far, but when you're actually on the phone, you can ask tough questions and hear in real time like how people respond. So I think it's disrespectful to, whenever I meet a woman and I can tell like immediately, like, oh, this type of woman has like a roster, or thinks that, oh, she's adding something, so I find that very disrespectful, and I cut those women off immediately.
Okay, I'm sorry, I missed that. Women, you cut those. What type of women?
The women who are out here dating and like they have a roster.
The
like as far
roster,
as
the
like,
roster
Why is that wrong? I had a roster before I got with my guy.
well, I'll explain it to you.
You said
Okay,
you want to
okay.
know what I was wrong?
Yeah, so let me explain it to you. I can tell you why it's wrong.
Feminine, you
coach.
gotta teach me how to do this whole roster thing, because I could
What?
not
Because
figure it
how
out.
do you know?
You want me to tell you how I know that you got a roster without you saying? Yeah, I will know.
No,
I will know because
you don't
You're
know
not a priority.
anything about person unless
exactly. Thank you, Nicole. So, so a woman who has a roster, treats her roster, how she treats her roster. There's going to be somebody at the top of the roster. There's going to be people at the bottom of the roster. So, whenever I enter a picture into a woman's life, I am the top person. And if I'm not treated as the top person,
I was going to say something similar.
then I'm gone.
You can
So-
usually tell when you're like second fiddle or like third. or fourth.
Absolutely,
Like, you can
absolutely.
usually tell the vibe is definitely different, and it's fucked up. Nobody wants to be
Yeah, so
second
if-
plus fiddle.
Yeah, you get the bare minimum.
Yeah, you get
Oh,
the bare
God.
minimum. You get, lack of responsiveness. You get
Right.
like, random. Oh, hey, do you want to go to dinner?
You
Like,
up?
no.
Right.
No.
Yeah,
You
so-
see, and I use this example all the time. At one point in my life, I had 3 jobs. I was working like 100 plus hours in a week. I don't know how the hell I was doing that, but I was young,
Yeah.
and I still found time to date a motherfucker. And that's just that, I had 3 dogs at home that I was taking care of. I had my 3 jobs, everything. I was clearly doing in threes at that time, and I was exhausted, but I still had time to date somebody.
Mhm.
Okay. And
But you didn't have,
at
did you have
time-
time to have a, hold on, did you have time to have a roster when you were doing that?
Oh, hell no. I don't have time to have
Exactly.
a roster right now. I'm just saying, like, I don't
Exactly.
understand how people,
So to answer,
say,
hold
like,
on, just let me just, so to answer feminine dimensions question, that's how we can tell. Because when you're a busy person, you recognize the importance of time and time management. And somebody who has a roster is not doing that because
Well,
they're focusing their time. Hold on. They're focusing their time in multiple
I had 3 different
connections,
business-
multiple emotions. So you can't be moving purposefully or with intent if you have a roster.
No, I disagree. A lot of like the 1% top executives, top guys, they have a roster. They date multiple women and they are busy as hell. I'm talking about the CEOs and the CFOs. And
So
then
that's
I
different
have
between dating and sleeping
and
with. Just wanted to
what?
clarify
No,
that.
it's about time management.
Facts.
If you don't know how to manage your time, it's not about like not having time. And so
No,
I never understood the roster thing either. Like
Yeah.
a lot of my girlfriends have rosters and it works for them. I was told by my therapist that I needed a roster, but I
Don't listen
couldn't.
to
I
I
like your
couldn't.
fire
I
your
couldn't get
therapist.
into it.
Exhausting. It feels
I
too
couldn't
It is
get
exhausting.
into it.
But
Like I
but
have
can I?
my,
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
You go. No, I was
Yeah,
just
go
gonna
ahead,
say,
Derek.
just to piggyback off of what Manic is talking about. So yeah, you can always find somebody like you were saying, feminine that has like CEOs and people that have rosters, but 9 times, they don't have their mentality right. They might not be in the best physical condition. So when you start chopping away, you only get 24 hours in a day. So it's like if you're putting that into your work, then you might spend some time with your family. You might spend it working out. If you're that productive, you just don't have a lot of time for like, splitting that time with all these people. And then it's like if you're truly saying you're intentional, then you got to divide that time up and you're going to try to get to know each other. So it kind of slaps that in the face. So yeah, I think when people have rosters, it is disrespectful. And then what Manic's saying is just like, you could spot that early. No guy wants to be the food guy on the phone and stuff where, you're just going on dates and then like you're being entertained by other people. So it's just
The
like, guys,
roster
as we get
movement-
older, we're spotting this stuff earlier. And that's when
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
are jumping off.
the
Rosters
roster movement works for some.
Yeah,
Doesn't work for others.
The way that it worked for me, it was I was able to pick the right guy, and who did the most, and who was good for me.
Oh, you
And
picked the
then-
wrong guy then.
What's up? And I know that
You picked the wrong guy
he
then.
had a couple girls, and I had to my act was spotless for him to, choose me, and for me to choose him. Both of us were really, really hard to be the number one for each other. And so now I don't have a roster. I don't think that he has a roster, but we went through it because you have to date multiple people to know exactly what you want, and mostly to know exactly what you don't want. Because
So
if you
I
person,
think you're mixing I think you're mixing two things. You're mixing like dating multiple people to find out who you are. And I, combat that because I say you should, do the self-work to realize who you are and what you stand for. And when you're giving your energy to multiple people at a time, you're not doing yourself a service. You're doing yourself a disservice because you're minimizing who you are and splitting it between multiple people when you should be. I'm okay with a woman saying like, hey, I'm going to try to date a guy who's like this. And then that didn't work out. Let me try to date a guy who's like this. Like, that's okay. But when you sit up here and say, I'm going to date these 5 guys and, figure out what I really want, it's like, you don't know who you are. So it's just like what you're doing is splitting yourself and your energy amongst like, let's just say 5 people, when you could just be putting your energy towards one person. And
At a
that's what I
time.
say. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I say. I can pick up on that immediately. So it's just like all those women who thought that, oh, okay, here's a new guy I'm meeting, I'm going to keep my roster. I pick up on that immediately and I drop them. So they don't even get a chance to make it to the next level with me. And I'm a successful guy. I work out. Like I'm a fucking winner. Yeah. So it's just like, I'm not going to sit up here and tolerate going back and forth. I don't have a roster. I'm not operating like that because I'm too fucking busy working on myself.
a top executive is going to just interview one person. They interview a couple. Who knows how many people make it
That's
to the interview?
interviewing. That's
And
not
they go
dating.
from
That's not
person to
sleeping with.
person.
That's not spending money. That's not courting. So I'm
Are
telling
you
you, like, if
today
you
allow
go, if you sit up here and go with the guy who's going to be the most thirsty for you, like, holler at me in a couple years. Like, see how that works.
what?
That's all I
Like
got
I
to say on that.
with all of them, you know. I don't. I mean, I didn't. Like
Yeah, I mean, it sounds nice.
All right.
I mean, it
Well,
works for some. I have some personal friends that's how they dated as well. They were in the dating apps and they, serial dated before they met the one, and it worked for them. But I think everyone's dating style is different, and that's what's hard when you go, out there and dating. You can't.
I think
It's hard.
I think it works. Yeah, I think.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna say one more thing. Like, I think like when you have a roster, it definitely works for like whores. But like when you're a good woman, having a roster
Oh
doesn't
yeah,
work.
definitely. I'm not a good woman, and I'm not a nice woman. I am not. I'm not.
Yeah.
I am just like you. And guess what? I learned it from my father.
Well,
The best.
Yeah.
Yeah, my father
Hey,
was
that's fair. That's fair. Some people have daddy issues. I get it.
But just one last thing, Will, and
Oh, there's
we'll toss it to you, man, because I know you want to. But I would just say, man, what happens when you have the roster? I think it kind of we're blinded by options. So like what typically happens, and this is what Manning's trying to hit on, is just like women typically go for the guy that spends the most money in that process. That's what they think of, like working hard and stuff. And that guy that spends the most money, he's typically he's running game. We call him a trick, but he's doing it on purpose because he knows that that's a way to like kind of decipher women and stuff. So that's why we're trying to tell you a lot of times, okay, that's why a lot of people are like, hey, things ain't working out. But that guy that typically spends that money like that climbs the top of that roster is typically the wrong person because he knows how to play that game. That's why people's like, I've been love bombed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's why we're trying to tell you.
Conversation. Yeah.
All right. No worries. Thank you, Jerk. M3, thank you for jumping on as a guest. Good to see you. Good to have you. Let me just let me just give some time to Paroma because I know you haven't had a chance. I know everybody was going back and forth. I just want to make sure everybody has equal time before I pass it to M3, so you can add on to the conversation. So, Paroma, anything you want to add on? I know everybody was going back and forth. I just want to give you some time.
Actually, I like that. Like everyone has different perspective, and everyone was saying like they had a point. But yeah, like I don't agree with the dating thing because I think it's very personal. Like everyone has different way of dating. I don't believe in dating multiple people at the same time because you are actually not understanding one person completely. But dating multiple people like one by one, what you call serial dating, I think that's quite fair enough because you want to be with a person for the long run and you are just like, you're investing all your time with the one person, like right away you are meeting. And that's not fair to both the person. And you should be open while you are dating before you commit to each other. And I also believe that if you are like in the get-go, you are jumping into commitment right away, that means you are kind of hiding your insecurities. If you are kind of okay with who you are and authentic about yourself, then you are gonna be okay with the relationship, like however long it takes. And if you even in the first go you feel like there's a big red flag for you, that those are like non-negotiable, you can jump on the other person, which is quite fair, because you didn't commit to that person earlier. So before you commit, take your time, keep changing partners or relationships if that's okay. But when you commit, you really believe that no, this is my person and I'm really serious about it. Just be sincere about it rather than just jumping from one person. Then give your time, like enough time and understanding and adjustments. But before that, while you are in your dating stage, I don't believe in like just stick to one person and you are a bad woman if you keep dating several people. So
I think having a roster is fair, but you need to communicate
Let me just get to Nadia and then Nicole. I just want to give you some time. Then I'll pass it to M3. Then we'll come back again full circle for open discussion. I just want to make sure everybody has time. Nadia, any response to the roster back and forth between Manic and Feminine Dimensions and Jerk?
I understand the whole ideology behind a roster. I really do. I feel like if it was something that I could do, I might do it, but I can't do it. It's too hard to, one man in my life at a time is enough.
Too much.
Because it's too much. It's too much. It's stressful.
A lot of energy.
It's stressful. It takes a lot of time. I want to be genuine, and I can't make that many jokes to that many different people in a week. That's too much. Okay, one person is enough for me, at a time. So, do I believe that it's reasonable to, go on a date, see how it goes, then maybe go on another date the next week? Yeah. Can I talk to multiple people at a time? No, I tried it before, and usually I just stop responding to everybody else because I like just one specific person. I've tried it. I just, for some reason, maybe my time management just isn't that good when it comes to dating or trying to date multiple people at once. I can't fucking do it. I wish I could, because I feel
No,
like
you're just a good woman, Nadia. That's it.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Okay.
Rest in your femininity, Nadia.
Yeah, rest in your femininity.
Okay.
Don't set me on fire.
No.
All right. Thank you, Nadia. But let me pass it to Nicole, and then what's your so give you some time. What's your response to the roster conversation? Then I'll pass it to M3. Go ahead, Nicole.
I think the roster thing, it's fair. Look, if that works for you, if that's the way if that's how your dating style is, that's fine. Just communicate that to the next person. It's out of courtesy. Just say, I seem to come off as a psycho, because when I'm talking to someone, that's one of the first things that I say. Are you talking to someone else? Because I'm not okay with being in a roster. I don't have a roster, and I expect the same from you. So that goes back to the whole dating style differences. That's why it's hard to find your person, because everyone has different dating styles. So just to clarify, if you want to have a roster, that's cool. I just think out of courtesy, you should let your partner know, especially if you're sleeping with each other. There's so many STDs out there, especially if you're sleeping with each other. The least you can do is communicate that to your partner, to the person that you're dating. Hey, I'm seeing other people. I just want to let you know.
Okay. All right.
That's
thank you, sir.
That's a great question, though. So, Feminine, did you disclose hey, I am dating multiple people? Because you did say truthful in the beginning. I remember that. I took notes.
Yeah. Oh, I'm Latina, so I don't hold back on anything. And I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna see. Let's see where this goes. That was my, and I'm open. I'm not settling. I'm not settling for the first guy that shows up. I have to see you, and you have to prove yourself. Yep. And yeah, that implies everything. I'm not settling, and I'm not committing. I'm 1 foot in, 1 foot out until I see that you're the real deal. And he proved it, right? So yeah.
Te conquistó, yeah.
Oh yeah. Bought me a house now. Yeah, we're moving into the right direction. Bought me a house.
Okay. Hey, okay.
It worked.
All right. All right. Thank you so much. I see some people in the live chat. Shout out to you guys on the live chat so far. I say it's Sage on the live chat. D Degenerate on the live chat. Good to see you guys. Pada, E-Rock, good to see you guys. Let's get that live chat active and get everybody popping. Let me know what you guys think. And don't forget, this is a public show. So if you do want to jump on, the link is in the description on YouTube. As you guys can see, M3 just jumped on as a guest. So definitely would love to hear from more ladies and fellas out there if you want to add on and be part of the conversation. So I pass it to M3. M3, thank you for making the time, for jumping on. Pleasure to have you.
No problem, Will. Thank you for the invitation. Manic, Jerk, good to see you guys. And ladies, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So I know I came on the late end of the conversation, but at least what I got from it, Miss Nicole, I would definitely say I do agree with you as far as just the communication aspects. I mean, here's the thing. For me, I don't even care about the whole roster if you're having multiple guys, multiple women, but as long as you're communicating with that person, because maybe that person that you're trying to add on to that roster is not really about that type of life. You know what I mean? And it is a good, simple courtesy. And if that person is down to be a part of your roster, then I'm hey, kudos to that. Then you already know that, hey, you got somebody that's in alignment
down for
you.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So if I was in that situation where I'm like, okay, I'm trying to create a roster. Yes, I want someone, or like at least a woman or a couple of women, to be aligned with my ideology of why I'm even having a roster or why I'm even having like a rotation, and hopefully by the end of that rotational roster, I could meet that certain person where I could finally be like, okay, now I could kind of retire from the roster and actually settle down with that person. I mean, by the way, I'm married, but I'm just putting that hypothetically though. Now for people who, just want to take the time, it's nothing wrong with that. I think what the problem is that society, in reality, society will judge a woman if she's having a full roster of multiple men where you're dating multiple guys at the same time. Unfortunately, that's just what it is. We don't make up the rules of judgment, but that's just how it goes. The same thing.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I am a very, very liberal sort of woman, and I literally only care about who is paying my electric bill, and other than that, I could care less about what people think about me. Like literally, I don't.
Yeah. You found somebody that's now paying for your house, right?
I don't care what people say. I don't care what my
You
mother
found a
says. I don't
sucker.
care what anybody says. Like really, I don't. Because they don't. Nobody pays my electric bill. I'm the only one who pays it. So.
Right. Well, let me ask you this for a minute, right? Since you found a guy, right, that's able to pay for like your telephone bills and nails, get your hair done, and all that other good stuff, like, is that guy now like officially like you're a man? Like, because you did say earlier that you do have like a roster or you're casually dating.
That was 2 years ago. We've been together almost 4 years.
Okay. So solid.
I'm competing. So he was competing, right?
He was competing for the team. I got you.
Competing, yeah.
So I told you, sucker.
Oh my sweet Jesus!
He's
You should bring him up here so we can roast his ass.
Yeah, and and so now then, he was the best. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But let me ask you another question, right? But let's say, for instance, 4 years ago, during that time when you were actively like dating multiple guys, and I know again you said like the guy was like competing and obviously he won, but what if that same guy had a roster of his own? Would he qualify or would he be disqualified?
Oh my God.
He did, and I had to work really hard to win him over, right? I had to work really hard to make him fall in love with me too. It was a low bombing war. It was low bombing. Yeah. And we both fell for each other. Right?
But guys, it works. And we have to just come to the realization there's so many different dating styles out there. And you just have to find the dating style that's compatible to you. You're gonna awaken my demons if I find out that I'm in a fucking roster.
Exactly.
I'm not with it. I'm not with it.
Okay.
But there's a lot of success stories where that has worked. So,
now, I mean, if you're going,
she's in a relationship and we're not. So
yeah,
but it's not a good relationship. Like so I would love for Feminine Dimensions to bring her man up here and like to have a conversation, because it doesn't sound like he won. It sounds like he's the biggest loser, because if you are a guy and you're like
respect, and he complains about disrespect. I knew it, because the guys that are most disrespectful to women are the ones that want respect back. And you call me a whore.
Well, I'm not being disrespectful. I didn't call you a whore. I said women who have rosters and men who have rosters are whores.
No. You're judging me because I do.
I'm not judging you. I'm judging people. Yeah. I'm judging when you are disingenuous and say, hey, you're moving with intention, you like honesty, and you want to be in your feminine and masculine. You can't really do that if you're entertaining multiple energies. Like, I mean, not if you're productive with your time.
No.
So, and then you said, and then so based off of which, and then you also said like, oh, he's buying me a house. This is like, so a guy who's
he already bought me a house.
Okay, he already bought you a house. So somebody who's maneuvering like that, because let's be honest, there's always somebody that's more attractive than us. There's always somebody who's smarter than us. There's somebody who just, more.
That doesn't
poor
mean,
guy.
But what it counts is what you have in the inside, what you have to offer beyond looks, beyond money. right? There is a
But
deeper connection in a
yeah,
soul,
for sure,
whether
for sure.
there's money,
But
there's look,
I,
whatever. And
yeah,
looks mean nothing. You can date a
okay.
beautiful model and she can
That's
be dumb.
exactly.
Okay.
I agree. I agree with that. No, hold on.
Oh,
M3.
my bad.
I
Sorry.
agree with. I just want to say I agree with that. Like, looks, money. There should be never one aspect of anybody that is just, supersedes everything. So it's like you have to find what works for you in the balance. And if you're somebody who's like, I just want to get the most out of this person, then yeah, you're not going to go for looks. You're going to go for the person who has the most finances, because then they can buy your house and it's not really that big of a deal. But if you're looking for somebody who can challenge you intellectually, if you're looking for somebody who's going to like be your partner through thick and thin, because somebody, I mean, there's ups and downs in life and there's highs and lows. So somebody that you're solely relying on from a financial perspective, if the finances shift or, something changes, then, what real connection did you have other than like, hey, what this person can offer to you in your life?
Beyond anything that you can have your judgment over it. We've been 4 years together is because it goes way deeper than anything you can comprehend. Because you're in a relationship, I don't think so, right?
I was going to just ask, like, out of the guys that you dated, what made that person stand out the most?
Well, he never gave up.
So you rejected him the first time, like when he tried to pursue?
He never gave up. I'm not the easiest woman to be with, and he never gave up. He never gave up, and then he was generous. That's number two. Really, really, my daughter just needed surgery, and he pretty much saved her life. He was like, "Don't worry about how much it costs. Take her to a hospital." So he is a really good person. Very generous.
Okay.
So I with him, I didn't fall in love like normal people do. I grew in love.
Yeah, you grew into it because
he paid for it.
Huh?
Well, besides the monetary things, right? I like I said, I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt.
He's good in the bed. He's good in the sack too, right? Yeah, too. Amazing. The most amazing lover I ever had.
Yeah, let's just. I want to shift back to the conversation, so let's just finish this real quick. I don't want to. I know Feminine Dimension is spending a lot of time on you, but I do want to get back to the panel real quick. Go ahead, M3. You want to finish up?
No, like I was just saying. Everybody has a different style of dating. You know what I mean? And for me, like I just do the things that I do that works best for me. And I expect people to do the best that works for them. Unfortunately, like you're gonna have like people that's going to look at you in a certain type of way because traditionally, as most people will say it, back in like let's say like the 90s or before then, it was definitely frowned upon, like if a woman were to like date multiple men at the same time. They call them like 304s. Well, you know what I mean. And now these days, like it's pretty much socially acceptable. Again, I'm not trying to judge anybody for their dating style. Whatever works like for you, it works for you. And I don't judge nobody for how they live like in their dating style or what, helps them to get their man. But, to each his own.
Well,
that's just my whole point.
Can I chime in real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I know you want to move on, but I just want to say something. I got to give you a little pushback, M3, but
yeah, I get
based on that, because, first of all, we're not really judging. We're just having these conversations. So feel free to rip my life apart. I got this.
Oh, no, I'm not.
I'm just saying for anybody. We ask each other questions and stuff, but we could tell by the divorce rates and kind of how everything's playing out in society that things ain't operating the right way just by looking at the numbers. If we being unbiased, so it's just like the way we're maneuvering. It is a problem, and a lot of times, even though a guy might come in there and he might be spending a lot of money, what tends to happen with guys, we could speak to it, is we sign up for stuff that burns us out. So like that guy that might be spending some money in them cases, he might be like, you know what, I'm kind of tired of like, being in this position where I'm leading with my money. And then like what Manic was saying, if he jumps off and that money changes, that's when, if you look at the finances, when divorces, a lot of females are kind of left crippled. So it's just like, we should be looking at stuff from a prevention lens a lot of times, but we don't. We keep jumping into stuff for like sometimes self-gain. And that's what, leaves people in a bad state, because it's just like, you're supposed to be like growing with somebody technically and get aligned with somebody that, it's a reciprocal, where it's like, hey, I got your back, I got mine, whatever dynamic that looks like. But people tend to like get into relationships to take advantage of somebody, and eventually that person is human and he's going to burn out and then he's going to jump off. So that's what keeps happening. That's what's reflected in that divorce rate. So
with that part, I definitely do agree with what you guys are saying, and that is like an issue, because a lot of times people choose like what they want, but they're not choosing like the right type of people. So it's like you get into like these type of relationships, and let's just say you keep tricking it off to like these people that only want you like for like your financial gain, but then once that that money runs out, you can't expect like for that person to be loyal to you. And I think when people do get burnt out, they do put themselves in those type of situations. And I think it's really important for people to have those type of like, critical thinking skills, or like, actually don't sell for something that is less because, let's say that person's beautiful, or, that person got, you think that person got what he has. Actually take this effort to try to like think deep, what I mean? Have a deeper connection. So I get what you're saying, Jerk.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, M3. But shout out to the panel. I know, like I mentioned before early in the podcast, we're going to keep it real, unfiltered, and raw in these discussions. And we just had some real unfiltered, raw, open discussions and disagreements. So I do appreciate the back and forth. I know we're going to agree on a lot of things, but we're also going to disagree a lot of things. The ultimate goal is just try at least from these conversations to figure out a solution for people that is watching. So I do want to shift back to a topic I wanted to discuss, which is related to the topic that we're discussing. I have a question I want to ask the panel. Ladies, do you guys want a good man?
Yeah, I think every heterosexual woman wants a good man. Yeah. But
Okay.
what do you define as a good man, right?
Well, a good man, good values, loyal, wants to start a family.
Like a family man.
Like a family man. You want a good family man.
Yeah.
Okay, Nadia said yes. Nicole?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Feminine dimension?
I want a man who has risen to a level of a king. It's a man who is good and bad. A person who has met his shadow. I don't even know if you know what your shadow is, right? A person who knows where he's bad and where he's good, and he's also a little bit dangerous. That's the kind of man that I like.
Yeah.
Not a good man, not a naive man, not a man who lives in lack. Oh my gosh, money's run out. Money's gonna run out. The apocalypse is coming. No, none of that. A man who believes in expansion, good and bad.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Devil, God and devil. That's what I think.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just saying, a guy that's committed to you, that's loyal to you. He's gonna treat you with respect, right? He's gonna treat you. He's gonna love you, and of course, he has values and moral and principle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And of course, Pomona, you're married, so what's your response?
I also kind of agree with feminine, because I like good men with good values, definitely. But I also like the little bit of bad, because as long as that person is aware of it. And like, if you ask me, like 70-30%, like 70 good values, but little bit of bad as well. Like, it's not all, because a person cannot be all good and with all good values and everything is perfect, and that's quite boring, and that's not possible. Actually, no one is perfect. So
yeah, I mean, that's the assumption. When I say good man, we all know on this panel, no one's perfect. We're all human beings.
yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't know about
Slow that shit up, Will. No, I'm joking.
Right, we all have flaws, but people who are generally good, you try your best.
Accountability is very important for me. Like, someone has accountability, even if he's doing something wrong or something good, whatever it is. It's like, I mean, he knows what he is doing and he's upfront about it. That's very attractive to me, rather than hiding, and that's very unattractive. And good and bad, I mean, in a relationship, both are quite important, as long as you are you are not lying.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I just like good. Like generally, he's a good man. Generally, right? He's not an asshole.
No.
Mistreating
Of
you and
course,
beating
who
you and
wants
cheating
that
on you.
asshole?
Of
Like,
course. Yeah,
unless
yeah.
you are
You'll be surprised. A lot of women love these assholes, though.
I
Yeah.
think that's
No,
self-reflection.
so
like
I'll
your
come back.
partner is a
Let-
reflection of
people
you.
like
Yeah,
toxic people, actually, like toxic partners. Nowadays, I think that's a very cool thing to have, like toxic partners. So men and women, like both wants, because it's more adventurous, more unpredictable, and more fun. But of course, that's why it's not lasting longer.
yeah. Like when I say good man, they're like the general things that people would consider good, right? He treats you well. He respects you. He's loyal to you. He's committed to his children. He takes care of you and his children. The basic
That
things.
also challenges me. I mean, I don't want to be like just put on the pedestal, like everything is fine, everything is nice. I mean,
You don't want a pushover, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
course, I like
Yeah,
that challenge, like positive challenge. Like, yes,
You
I'm
need someone
challenging.
to check you.
Of course,
Yeah,
I
okay.
mean, nowadays chemistry is like always like no, chemistry isn't important. Just stability is everything you need. I don't believe in that. Chemistry is important. Like little bit of challenge, little bit of spark. Those are very important.
Yeah, I think I think you're talking more about compatibility and attraction. So, but yeah, just like just in general, it's like good man, right? Good
He's
man. Okay.
like stick to his.
Yeah. Okay. So
Or would it be fair to say like maybe you guys want like a bad man, well, a bad boy that's good to you?
yeah,
First,
just let me,
I gotta take that from the
I
comment.
don't want to. I want to be. I just want to ask you that question. Could I ask this question to the fellas?
Oh, okay.
And then let me bring it back full circle, and then we can open up for open discussion. So the ladies,
Okay.
in general, you guys all said that you guys want a good man, right? Okay. All right. Then all the extra stuff you want to add it on to that, that's fine. I'll pass it to the fellas. Same thing. Do you guys want a good woman?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Boring
All
as hell. I don't want no toxicity.
Yeah.
She ain't gotta have no bad girl streak. None of that. Just
Yeah,
good.
give me
That's it.
Just give me.
In this
I don't need
big
that at all.
They are the people. Be my peace. Just be
Exactly.
All right. Okay.
This is
So we
definitely
all.
number one for me. So
Okay, so everybody here, and of course, we're talking about long-term committed relationships. So everybody on the panel, at least we agree unanimously that we all want a good partner. I want to ask this question real quick, and if you guys just respond, can you guys agree that oftentimes the person that's going to be a good man or a good woman isn't often going to be the most sexually attractive person?
No, I don't agree.
Can we agree with that? So the
No.
person that tends to be the most good to you and going to be the best person that's going to be for a long-term committed relationship, oftentimes that person is probably not going to be the most sexually, physically attractive person or man or woman you're ever going to meet.
I haven't
Do you agree with
stumbled
that?
upon that yet.
No,
I could
don't
agree with that.
Stumbled upon
Okay.
that.
I don't agree.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Okay. So
That's
now,
fair.
I kind of
Yes, I
disagree.
agree.
You said the most attractive.
so
Like
I'm
out of
saying,
the group.
the good women and the good men out there that most men and women are going to meet in their life, they tend, I'm saying in general, on averages, they tend not to be the most physically or sexually attraction person you're ever going to meet.
I've seen it, but it hasn't happened to me yet.
Do you
I
agree
think
with that?
Will. So let me see if I'm understanding you right. Will, are you saying that like pretty much if there's a rating system, scale 1 to 10, 10 being the most attractive male
Yeah,
or female,
yeah,
depending on
yeah.
how you're looking at it.
Yeah.
The people who are at the 10 level, they're going to be.
I'm saying in
they're
average,
not
they
always
tend
going to be.
the best for long-term relationships, and they're not as far as being a good partner, a good woman, a good man. They tend not to be the most attractive, the most physically and sexually attractive. Can we all agree on that?
I'll say it like this, if this makes sense. Most 8, 9s, and 10s, right? Yes, they may be, like sexually attractive or whatever, but as far as like, having like an attitude that's like really good, is usually kind of rare because you have so many that's putting them on a pedestal. Like, there's no reason for them to even like, try to have like, like I guess a little bit of good, for like those people, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think usually the ones that do contribute are usually like it's like the solid like 7s, pretty much.
Yeah.
The ones that is somewhat attractive, but they still have like a cool little personality. They don't let like their ego like get to their head. they'll try to like to at least like contribute a little bit more. So I kind of agree with it somewhat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what
To
I'm
a certain
saying. Is in
degree.
general, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's always the exception,
Yeah.
the rare guy. But I'm saying is in general. I'm talking about in general for most people in the world,
Yeah.
right? In general, the person that you're gonna meet that's generally gonna be a good person to you. It's rare. It's gonna be in most of the time they're not gonna be the most sexually physically attractive person to you.
I agree.
Most likely.
Okay.
Do
Okay.
you
Well-
do you think that that's something that you grow into? Like
Yeah.
Feminine said that he, she grew into loving him. Do you guys
Yeah.
think that?
Although I
that
think I feel like I hit the jackpot because he's tall and he is really good. I think he's good looking, but it can be like people that are really nice may not be the most attractive people. No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no.
Mm.
Okay. All right.
So
So we all.
just to chime in on that, I would
Right.
say like I think especially when you start getting older, I think that's definitely the case. But I think like where attractive people could be nice and you could meet up with them. I think if you meet them early and get married, I think because the expectations is I'll say low at that point, so people grow with each other. So I think that's easier to two attractive people could meet up and be nice. But
All right, where's
older,
my
yeah.
ugly dude at? I'm looking for him.
Okay.
Like all of the people I've been with, I found attractive. Like they were attractive to me.
Yeah.
So I'm maybe that's it for me.
No, so the reason why I asked that question, because we're talking about do men and women always find better in dating? Is the grass always greener on the other side? So generally, what I see online that for most people, if you ask most people, and I've heard it for both men and women, one of the biggest complaints they always talk about online is nobody wants commitment no more. Nobody wants to be in a long-term relationship. Nobody wants to be married. So there are men and women out there that do want a long-term, monogamous, committed, good relationship. They want a good partner, right? But we also live in an age where everything's so focused on looks. Everything's so focused on sex. So there's a type of mentality for a lot of people out there that said they want the most physically and sexually attractive man, but they also want that man to be loyal, monogamous, and treat her well. So, I want the question I want to ask. I want to have the topic I do want to discuss, because oftentimes what I do see online is both men and women, they'll find somebody that's good, but then they'll leave that guy and go try to chase the guy that's the most physically and sexually attractive, and hope to conform him or change him into a loyal person. So the complaint on a lot of the women, even the good women. So the biggest complaint I see from the good women and the good men, they're saying is, well, there's no point of being a good person no more, because these women aren't going to give you any time of day, because they're going to chase the guys that most sexually, physically attractive, but they tend to mistreat you. They tend to cheat on you. They tend to not give you the relationship that you want. But women will spend majority of their years chasing that guy. And then once they realize that guy is never going to conform and give her that loyal, committed relationship, they finally try to come back to the good guy. But the good guy's like, nah, I'm not going back with you, because I was here in your life, but you never gave me any time of day or never gave me reciprocation when it came to relationships. So there's this mentality for both men and women that they want to seek the best physically and sexually attractive person, and also want to find a loyal, committed relationship. And I think that's where the disconnect is. I think that there's so much focus on sexuality that I don't really see a lot of people talk about moral character, values, vision, the focus on family, which should be the focus on. A lot of times when we have these conversations and when it comes to dating relationships, people tend to talk about their individual needs, but there's no focus on the family dynamic. But and I would argue, and this is just my personal observation, I would say we have a lot of single, beautiful women on this panel. I think there's a guy, I truly believe there's a guy right now in your life that's a good guy for you to give you the relationship you want, but he may not be your physically or sexually attractive type that you're generally looking for. And then a lot of times women will overlook that guy until it's too late. So I just want to give back. I want to just give back to you guys that topic is, do people still want to find better when it comes to a relationship, or are people more focused on finding better with just, I want to find the most attractive person and try to find that relationship, because that's the biggest when it comes, that's the biggest the complaint or criticism that people, men and women, have about today's dating, is that we're all just trying to find the most sexually and physically
The
attractive,
gem.
and the person that's the good, the average guy, right? The average guy, the average woman, as far as looks and sexual attractiveness, you're not willing to give that person a time of day, but they have all the good qualities that you would look for when it comes to being a relationship. So what's your response to that, and what's your thoughts about that conversation? Let me start with you, Nadia.
There's a lot to unpack there. I'm going to be honest
Yeah.
with you. There's a lot to unpack there, because, you know, I'll try to not give a whole dissertation, but when it comes to physical attractiveness, and this is something that I believe, it's going to be different for every person. For me, right, what I find physically attractive is almost everybody that I've dated, nobody has looked the same. So they all look different. They were all attractive to me for different reasons. So some of them weren't conventionally attractive. So like they weren't 6'2". They didn't have like a 6-figure income. They didn't drive a really, really nice car, but I thought that they were sexy as shit. Now it could have been the way that they were talking to me. It could have been the way they laughed. It could have just been the way that they smelled. You know, it really just depends on the person. Now, do I believe that, you know, do I believe that people are not going to find a good person in somebody that they find attractive? No, I don't. I really don't believe that. Only because I will be honest that I have been done dirty by some questionable looking fellas. And it had,
Me too, girl.
Yeah, it's like, honestly, it really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it really does not matter what they fucking look like. It's how they treat you. And, you know, I have given, you know, I guess the ugly guy a chance before, and he was terrible to me. I was so nice to some of them. Some of them I wasn't so nice to because they came at me sideways, but that's just anybody. So I've given people a chance. People have given me a chance, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But I really don't believe that the person that's going to be good to you, you're going to find unattractive. I really don't. I don't know. Maybe that's the hopeless romantic in me that's kind of unreasonable. But, you know, I really do believe that there is a possibility that the person that's going to be good to you and treat you with love and respect, you are going to find attractive. Maybe not in the fucking 6'100", $1 billion salary a year kind of way. I mean, I really don't know, because there's not that many people out in the world. But I don't know. I don't believe that there's that the person that you are inevitably are going to settle down with and is going to treat you with love and respect, you're going to find unattractive. I don't believe that. I really believe in more.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Nadia. But no, just to clarify, I'm not disregarding the importance of sexual attraction. I do believe that there has to be sexual attraction for the relationship initially to start to last long term. What I'm saying is, say most people, they generally date within their range. So say if you're a 5 and you attract a 5 or a 6, that's within your range. But there's a lot of people out there that are considered 5s, but they're trying to get loyalty from the 9 and 10, and not date somebody that in their same range would be a 5, which is the same level of sexual and physical attraction. That's what I'm saying. So I think there's a lot of that's the biggest complaint online, is especially for always finding better. There's women out there and men out there that will attract somebody in their level, like as far as physical and sexual attraction, but they think that they deserve a 7, 8, 9.
Like dating above their station.
Yeah,
I've seen that shit.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, dating above your station, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. So
honestly, I
know.
hate that number grading scale of, oh, she's a 10, because at the end of the day, somebody could be like a woman could be really fucking sexy, right? Yeah. Just everything physically that you could want in a woman, but she's fucking terrible on the inside. Like the kind that kicks puppies, right? So, you know, nobody wants to be with somebody like that. And I really do believe that, and I think Feminine said this, that it's, you know, the looks don't fucking matter. It's what's on the inside. And a lot of the time you could be a 10, but whatever's kind of going on the inside makes you more like a 2. And I really don't I hate the number grading scale. I think that's absolute horseshit. I hate it. Do I think that I'm the most attractive person in the world? I don't think. I think there's a lot of women that are more beautiful than me for a lot of different reasons. But I'm not comparing. At the end of the day, I'm not in a competition with another woman. Just like I'm not going to compete against another man. That's just not going to happen. It's either you like who I am or you don't. It's either I like who you are or I don't. And where you guys go from there is how, I don't know, how you're going to progress in a relationship.
All right. Thank you so much, Nadia. I'll pass it to you, Nicole. Yeah, Nicole. Yeah, I know you. What's your response to that? The conversation. Do you have to have the guy that's the most physically or sexually attractive, or can you just find somebody that's you're still attracted to him, but as long as he has as long as he's a good man, that's enough.
Well, real quick, before Nicole goes, I wasn't real comfortable with all the women bashing from Nadia. I just wanted to put that out there. I don't know what her thing is against women, but it just kind of struck a nerve with me. Sorry, Nicole.
Wait, what?
Nothing. Just ignore me.
I think attraction is important, especially, when you're dating. There has to be some type of attraction, right?
Yeah.
Now, the most attractive, I think all of that comes within when you get to know someone more. Beauty is within. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
But it is important. It is important to have mutual attraction.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I'll pass it to you, Feminine Dimensions. And what do you think? Of course, attraction is important, but do you have to have? Do women always have to seek the most physically sexually attractive man, or being a good man just is enough as long as you're still attractive?
Well, this goes back to like even that sort of like instinct to want to procreate with the best, the fittest and the best looking, so your children can be good looking, right? It goes back. There's so much into that psychology, and I believe that you should shoot for the best looking person. It's a challenge, and you might be rejected, and it might hurt. But like the nice guy. And so he's good. He's a good guy, and he's not really attractive. Like what else? What is the challenge? What is the excitement there? What does he have going on besides being nice and not attractive? Like he has to have some quality to him for him to have to catch the attention of a woman. Yeah, I believe that if as a nice guy, he should shoot for like the 10. That sort of ambitious, dream big, go for it, and learn a few lessons on the way. And I think that it's all about what you have to offer. That looks, I mean, yes, it's nice to be with that nice, good-looking person, and why not? Life is too short. Why not? I just believe the nice guy that is not very good looking will have to have something, personality, money. I don't know, something that can catch a woman. And there are guys who are not really attractive, and you see them with the most beautiful woman in the room.
That's a guy with money.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
He's breaking bread.
But sometimes
No.
Drinking left and right.
Oh, he might have
Disagree.
some mad tricks in the bedroom.
Okay. All right.
Thank you. I'm sorry. One of the things that I always felt like, if you could master being funny, chivalrous, and confident, you're going to get you a woman. That's like female kryptonite. That's why women stay away from a lot of ugly dudes, because if he's funny, chivalrous, and confident, they may end up with a half ugly baby. So you got to kind of watch that. I think any man who masters those three things can find him a woman that's going to be all over his shit.
I agree.
Hey, the ugly dudes are the best entertainers, though. I ain't gonna lie, hands down, right? I mean, hey.
Okay. All right. So thank you. Pass it to Paroma, and I'll come back to the fellas. Paroma, what do you think? Women out there always trying to find better. They're always trying to find the most physically, sexually attractive man. How important is a man's moral character and his values, and just being a good man in general? Are they willing to go with a guy that's still attractive, but He has more moral character than the guy that's absolutely sexually attractive. He's your type, but he may not treat you well.
For me, like attraction is very, very individual. I don't find like physically attractive is attractive to me. For me, intellectually attraction is more important, and the character, the way they treat you. If you find someone attractive, that's it. But attraction is important for me in a relationship, and both has to be equally attracted to each other. Because other than that, it's like you are like siblings, like respect, love, these, that, everything you can find it in other relationship. But what makes a partnership different? Your attraction, right? That's the only thing you cannot find it in someone else, like your best friend or your co-worker. Like you might have like respect and all those good things, but for your partner, if you don't have that attraction, mutual attraction, then it doesn't differ you from other relationships. So yes, it's important, not physically, but somehow, like intellectually or character wise or behavior wise, somehow attraction is important.
Okay. All right. Thank you so for sharing that, Paroma. Thank you so much for everybody in the live chat. And before I pass it to the fellas, can I just get a baseline of what the average guy is? So can you give me a celebrity that you guys know that he's not attractive, but he's not ugly. He's just like the average. Like I just kind of know what you guys think what average is. What's a celebrity of a guy, of a celebrity that is like that's well known? Like what's average to you?
Nicole, he's asking the women.
The women. So he's not a 10. He's not ugly, but he's not hot. It's just the average guy walking around in the world that you see every day. Is there a celebrity that we kind of that we know that represents that, so we can have an idea what average is to you? What's a celebrity?
This is hard. I can't. I'm like going through my
My
Rolodex
wife
of
said-
actors.
Don't let them answer, Damien. They might say the same thing you're gonna say.
I can't think of a celebrity, but I could tell you what I look for. I'm a very healthy, fit person, so I look for that in a man. Like prioritize health, prioritize the gym.
Yeah.
So I find that attractive. Like if you're a person
like a celebrity in a movie that we all
I'm
know.
trying to think like.
What about him? I don't find him attractive, but he's like still he got the Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber.
Yeah, I don't find him attractive, but he got the one of the hottest girls. So
good looking guy.
Justin Bieber tends to be the most people might, because he was in people. A lot of girls think. I'm saying just like the average guy. Like most people, like he's not hot, he's not ugly, but just average.
I'm trying to think. Let me see. I don't know.
This is so hard. I'm like,
there's a lot of actors.
There's a lot of actors.
Actors. Just all these movies you've seen.
Any
that
celebrity.
makes it even harder. That makes it even harder. Will.
I'm a big movie watcher. I watch a lot of movies. So
that's what I'm saying.
I'm trying to think of like an actor that's like not considered, because I feel like almost most male actors are kind of like made to be, they're on screen, so it's
they're
like,
all right. They're all
like
sexy,
they're made to be conventionally attractive for the most part. I
can't help him, Will.
Like
I actually agree with Nadia.
Like Kevin, what's his name? Who's Adam Sandler?
Benedict Cumberbatch is a woman that some people can say are really good looking.
You know what? Okay,
Adam
Benedict
Sandler.
Cumberbatch. You know
I don't
what?
know.
I do think he's kind of attractive. Yeah, I'd be looking at him in Doctor Strange like.
Well, I mean, what about Adam Sandler?
I think he's hot. Because I'm looking past.
I really liked him in Wedding Singer.
Yeah,
in Wedding Singer. I remember watching that as a young girl, and I was like,
all right, Kevin Spacey. You know who Kevin Spacey is?
Oh yes. God, you picked the wrong one. You don't even like women.
I don't know about Kevin Spacey. I mean, I like his.
Is he average?
I don't know. I
guess you can say Adam Sandler is average. I don't know.
Kevin Spacey in the movie Seven. He was actually.
Okay, there we go.
He was
on the chat. Will Ferrell.
I don't think Will Ferrell is attractive at all.
I don't think he's average. I don't think
he's average.
Okay, I'm just gonna move on.
I guess, ladies, could we agree that Adam Sandler is average? Because he's not like, a six pack. He's not like,
He's
his
got the
face
whole
might not
dad
be the
bod
most
thing going
symmetrical,
on.
right? But he's still like, he's cute to us, right?
I think he's adorable. He could definitely charm me. Yeah.
He can get
I feel
it.
like yeah, a little bit. I mean, I feel like Adam Sandler in his wedding singer days, I would have been like,
Yeah. Well, I forgot that these guys have status and money, so that can kind of have an impact on how they look at it. So I understand that. Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to get an idea what average was, but thank you so much, ladies. Let me pass it to the fellas. Discussing the biggest criticism I see online is a lot of guys are saying women don't want good men anymore. They just want the most sexually attractive guy, and they want that man to change into a good man because based on what we see online, most of these guys are not getting the swipes and the attention when it comes to dating apps and all these things we see. What's your thoughts on that? I'll start with you, Damien. I know you just jumped on. Thank you for jumping on as a guest. But what do you think about that, Damien?
I mean, I think that whole pre-selection thing is real. I think women do like men who other women kind of identify as attractive. So, yeah, I think if it's hard pressed to find a woman who's like, I know everybody else don't think my man is good looking, but I do. That's a rarity that you will find that. I think women do like it when other people are kind of somewhat aligned and say, okay, I can see why you see him attractive. Well, I can see what have you. But if you're just like, you got an ugly man, a lot of it, that will, after a long time, like really mess with a woman for the most part. And because dudes will know, like, you can date with an ugly chick and guys will kind of pick, okay, he's with her for X or whatever. Women, if you really into like a guy that's like half ugly, they're like, I don't get it. You don't have to do this. And he could treat you the best in the world. And if all your women are like, oh my God, this is, Nadia's man is just the elephant man. It'd just be like, not that's what you would get, but I'm just saying, if people were just like, they thought he was like unattractive, it would just, I think, it would really mess with some women, and quite a few. The majority of women need to feel like their man is pre-selected for some reason. You can be unattractive, but you got to be impressive in some other way. You got to be able to play the hell out of a guitar or paint the shit out of a picture or be in really great shape or something like that. And you got to have another thing that a majority of women will say that's attractive about you, in my opinion.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing that, Damien. I'll pass it to you, M3. What's your response to that, M3? The men are saying that there's no point of trying to be a good man because most of women online are always going to seek the guy that's the most physically, sexually attractive.
I kind of somewhat agree because the thing is that, a lot of men feel like they're never really like good enough for who they currently are. And then when you're always seeing like this person, like, who has an attitude of a jerk or who is like super confident, but then you're seeing this person who has like 4 or 5, like, different, like, fine chicks that is like, talking to him. It does mess with a man's like psyche. And that's why most men feel like, well, what's the point of being good when all you hear like on the internet is women want like, certain type of men that, maybe like on the aggressive side, that they feel like they could change them and, maybe turn this bad boy or whatever, however you want to call it, into like a good person for them. But in reality, it's like, I think a lot of guys, man, like, when we take on like, I guess like the good guy type of role, we try to compensate like, for something that we know that we're lacking in. So if we don't really have that looks and that charisma, we think that, okay, that initially in the beginning, we thought that, okay, well, us being nice and showing them that we're different from the guys that they keep complaining about, the guys that keep crying about, if we're showing them how different we are and how special we could treat them, then hopefully one day they would like, change their mind, or we'll try to persuade their mindset and then come to like, like good guys or whatever. But it don't really happen that way. Most of them like find those type of men attractive because it provides some type, I mean, strangely enough, it provides some type of security, into their minds. And so that's why when you go into like these spaces and they're telling you like, hey man, stop being like a sucker, stop being like a simp or whatever, and you start like getting that awakening, you have to understand that like you're in this predicament because like you haven't found like your worth, like your own true value and the power that you could actually have when you actually like, be you, but at the same time, like stop caring about like, what they think or what they feel. Just keep on working on yourself. Keep building yourself up as a man. So that way they could be the byproduct and they could come after you as opposed to treating them like the prize. So,
Okay.
but again, a lot of people think that, it's cool to like, try to follow the trend of the bad guy or whatever without doing the proper research of why they fall in love with them in the first place.
All right. Thank you so much, M3. I'll pass it to you, Manic. Manic, what's your response to that? Go ahead.
So let me make sure I'm hearing you right. You're saying that a lot of men are saying that there's no point in being a good man because women want a bad guy. Is that
Yeah. Like men and women always trying to find the better in dating. So for a lot of women, they're trying to find the most physically and sexually attractive guy they want. That's why they keep bouncing around when it comes to dating. And a lot of the conversation online I see is guys like, being a good man is not enough anymore. You can be a good man to your woman, but that's not enough with the type of women that we see online, because they'll forego a good man and try to find out the guy that's sexually attractive that's not necessarily good to her.
I mean, I think that's just the reality. When you have options, and I mean, you got to factor in like globalization, like, women in a certain area can get so many praise, and the same thing with guys. We can get so many praise from everybody, so it kind of like I guess convolutes our actual options, versus like back in the day, you got praise from people in your community and your circle, so it was like very limited. So we're just seeing the reality of accessibility. But I think if you're a guy and you're like, there's no point in being good because women want this, and it's just like, are you really even a good person? Because if your whole ideology on being a good person is to attract women, like, you're not a good person. Then you're kind of like pretending, you're being a representative, you're leading with something that's not really true. So I mean, I believe you should always be who you are, right? And if you have good morals and good ethics, stand on that, and the women who don't want that, they're going to vet themselves out anyway. If a woman is, solely focused on like, I want a guy to, be this and, have this physique and this and that, and it's just like, and you don't have that, then she just vetted herself out, and you can focus on the women who actually will appreciate you and actually will reciprocate the type of energy that, you need and desire. So I think it actually makes it easier. If you live in your authentic self and just maneuver, then you will start to attract the women who, also want to do that. And if you're, let's say a woman that's like, hey, the way I was raised was I go after the guy who's going to give me the most, like whether that's money, attention, then it's just like, and who you are, and you can't, match up with that, or that doesn't align with your moral code or ethics, and that's not what you're looking for, then they also vet themselves out from you. So it's just like, I think it actually makes things a little bit more efficient because, I really believe that, when you have a mindset of abundance, just because 95% of women exclude themselves, there's still that 5%. And even diving down even deeper, you only need one person, right? Because I mean, I believe in monogamy. So, it just, the more you stay in, who you are and know who you are and stand firm on that, create your own boundaries, it's easier to vet people out. So, I believe you should just be good. You should be who you are. And, women will find that attractive.
You'll attract accordingly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Manic. And then I'll pass it to you, Jerk. And then after Jerk goes, and we can pass it back to the panel if we want to respond to each other. Go ahead, Jerk. What do you think?
All right. First, I would like to give a shout out for Manic for throwing that shot. I caught that, but let me go ahead and get him let me go ahead and get him my response. But I would just say, I think when guys say that statement, they tend to spend a lot of time being good to the wrong people. You know, and I think that's the issue. There's nothing wrong with being good to the right person and stuff. So I think people misplace it. I think a lot of people do focus on attraction and try to, you know, like spend all their resources and exhaust themselves where, you know, they end up getting burned out and they also start getting bitter and, you know, they start projecting that at everybody else versus, you know, kind of like we were talking about earlier, having that self-awareness and also like, but like, you know what, there are good people. I just maybe bypassed them because I was like superficial or materialistic, whatever things we kind of add in to like, you know, separate ourselves from the actual good people. So I just think people are misfocused, really. You know, they're it's like they tone out all the people that's actually good because, like I said, they're not meeting that superficial level. So I think that's the biggest thing. So yeah, nah, it's not an issue of being good. It's just you're being good to the wrong people. They don't like you back. So that's why they're making you jump through hurdles and stuff like that. So people just end up getting bitter and, like I said, blaming everybody, but that's not the case.
All right. Thank you so much, Jerk. And fellas, same question I asked the ladies. What's a celebrity woman out there that's average in your perspective?
I knew you're gonna say that. Like
As far as
average?
physical sexual attraction, just average. Not ugly, not hot, but
you know, they can like really like
It's
if you see them in
hard.
real life. I think
it's very
Catherine. I think Catherine Heigl is okay. I think who else? Like who else is just like everybody try to make like she's hot, but she's.
What about
this is
Rebel
our will.
Wilson?
But she ain't attractive at all. She's
Yeah.
Well, no, like
That's the one that's out of shape, right?
She's the one.
That's
Well,
the
she's
one-
in shape. She's actually in shape now, but I think like
No.
when I look at her
She-
features,
losing weight don't mean in shape.
I mean like look at her, like looking at her features. She has really pretty full lips. She has clear skin. She has nice hair. You know.
Y'all do to women. See, that's why you
No.
got to start telling the truth. Like you know,
No.
you know how men judge it. Like, how do you come in fresh out the bathroom in the morning coughing? That's how we judge as attractive men.
Exactly.
Then that's
Facts,
when you
Dave.
know if you can attractive.
Yeah, now when you have professional makeup artists like putting you on and like, you know, the best of clothes and
Then
angles.
fresh
like,
out of the bathroom, like I'm like, oh, you're a good looking
That's
woman.
why
You know,
social media is such a toxic thing because everyone's putting their best picture out there, their best angle, their best self.
yeah, filters.
Everything's the best, and all of these dating apps.
And even more
It's
things
just the
they are.
best of the best, right? And we focus so much on physical attraction.
I'm gonna tell you somebody I think is just average, and people are trying to. It's like a crime to say anything else. Is Taraji Henson?
Yeah, she's definitely
She's-
average.
She's average, but if you say it, jump all over you.
Right.
Yeah.
I got a little bit above average.
You'll get
man.
canceled.
I'm trying.
You got above average?
Yeah, I do.
no, it's average, just average.
I'm trying to think of like this woman's name. No, what about Kiki Palmer? I think she's average.
I think she's beautiful.
I
Yeah,
think
she's
beautiful.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, you probably saw like
Tiffany
I mean, what Layers or no, she's still average. Even
What
with
about
the
like
makeup
Selena
on.
Gomez?
She's pretty.
She's above. I think she's above.
Yeah, she's above average.
Above
I
average.
think she's beautiful.
What about Kelly Clarkson? No, I'm joking.
I think she's beautiful.
I was gonna say, what about Tiffany Haddish though?
I think she's
Oh, I
beautiful.
agree with you. Tiffany Haddish.
Yeah, she's another one.
As soon as she opens up her mouth, she's way below average.
And you know what?
Her
all,
score
of these,
drops.
all of these women that you're mentioning, like that were like, oh, are they average? They're all like very natural. You know, like I don't know, maybe they have their boobs done, but like you could tell they haven't had anything done in their face, no BBL, and you guys are trying to categorize them as average. Is it because they're natural?
No.
I think natural looks so much better than any
Yeah, I
type
think
of
all
cosmetic.
They're just not it. That's just what it is.
You can do some titty shit,
right?
You know, sparingly
Yeah.
or whatever. But the what's called it the face shit and the BBLs. Men really don't like that shit. I don't know why really,
know why
really don't
women
like
think
that.
that
But
way.
honestly, for the most part, like I agree with Paroma. That's how you say your name.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. When it comes to like attractiveness, it's like I think a lot of women are very attractive, but when you have that intellect and that depth, that like throws it over the top. So, I mean, I could date honestly 6 and above, and with the intellect and reciprocity and respect, like that shit'll be
They're a 10.
solid. Yeah, and they may not actually be a 10, but in my head, like I'm good.
Right.
Like I treat them like a 10. They get the full loyalty package.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing that, guys. I do want to ask this question because somebody brought this up on I think one of the ladies, you guys brought it up, but and this is also a topic I do see that's trending online. Is a man that's is a good man boring to most? Is a good man boring? Because a lot of times I've seen a lot of clips online that in stories that's women would be with a guy and then said that he's boring, and because
I
he's
think
just
I think it depends on the age.
Yeah, I
What
was just
age
about
you're
to say
asking.
that.
I'm 34 and I want a boring man. And it might not be like that for Nadia. Like how old are you, Nadia?
I'm 28. I'm gonna be turning 29 in June.
So like if you ask maybe like someone that's younger, like 22, maybe they're like, no, I don't want a boring man.
Yeah.
I do. I want that for me.
But
Hey Nadia, hold on. You saw that compliment, Nadia, where she was just like, she thought you were like 22.
I thought you were younger, Nadia. I
Oh.
thought you were
Yeah.
like 23, 24.
That means you're taking care of yourself very well. So that's a compliment.
Thank you. Well, I feel like honestly, it really depends on what you define as a good man, right? Because I feel, and I'm never gonna stop saying it depends on what you're into, right? Like, what are you into when it comes to a partner? What about a partner do you feel would be compatible with you? And what do you define as a good man or woman? Right? Some people believe in the more traditional aspects of a good man or a good woman. Like like I said, I can only speak from a female perspective. I don't know how men feel on this, and I feel like I fuck it up every single time I try. But from a woman's perspective, like, what do you see as a good man, right? Some people feel the traditional, like they're the provider, they're masculine, they're loving, they're this, and this, right? And some people kind of like we were talking about earlier, kind of like the bad guy, right? The one that's like a total piece of shit. So it really depends on what your definition is of a good guy, because I feel like different people might, I've heard women talk about certain men that treat them like absolute dog shit, and they're just like, oh, he's such a good guy. I'm just like, for where? Like, where are you seeing this? What is your idea of a good man? So I feel like it depends on what your ideology is of a good man or a good woman.
Okay. No, yeah, I mean, if I can bring the video, I'll definitely play it if I can find it. But there was this video I saw on TikTok that this guy was saying, I go to work every single day, I pay the bills, I come home, I don't, he doesn't go out, they don't travel the world, they don't do all these things on social media, just a normal blue collar guy. And then his girlfriend left him and told him, look, you're too good for me, but it's boring. I need some chaos. I need some excitement.
Like what?
So,
what is boring as
like,
in like he's going to work every day and
yeah,
then
he's going to
comes
work
home and
every
they
other
don't
day. He comes
they don't
home
do
every
any.
single day.
There's no like variation in routine.
Schedule and routine. Yeah, routine.
Yeah, if there, and again, I think that's where relationships take work, because it's not going to be exciting all the goddamn time. Yes, when you're meeting somebody for the first time, you're getting to know them, it's going to be more exciting because it's new, right? But once you start to get to know them and you guys kind of get into a routine and into a flow, yeah, it's gonna feel a little bit boring. But I mean, what do you want to what do you want to do? Do you want to go skydiving? Like, what do you want to do? Do you want to go try robbing a bank as a couple and see how that goes? Like, what kind of variation? And this can go for men or women. Like, when you're with a partner and then you find that after a certain amount of years, it's boring. It's like, okay, well, what if you could snap your fingers and conjure something? What would it be to offer some variation. And this is where being honest with your partner is really important. Like, okay, if you're with a man, as a woman, you're with a man and you feel like, okay, maybe I want to experiment, maybe I want him to get a little rough with me in bed, and he's never done that before, but she's embarrassed to ask him to do that because y'all never done that before. And people, you can't, those are the things that you can't really be shy about. You have to be willing to ask for and explore the things that you want, because at the end of the day, I can't read his mind and he can't read my mind. You know what I'm saying? So that's my thoughts on it.
I feel like in order for that to work, that's where you need to make sure that you are your values are aligning. You need two people. It usually works out when both people have seen some things and done some things. So like now they're both ready for like, okay, I've done enough coke off the back of toilet seats. I can sit at home and just I can sit at home and Netflix and chill and just watch a movie with my husband, with my kids, but knowing that my kids are safe. You can you can't. What you don't want is somebody. What's hard is if somebody who's never done anything and you've done things or what have you. It may be that's just like like some of the things won't align. Some people could be like, okay, I've never got a chance to do anything, so I want a little bit of excitement. I went from my parents' house to school to all the things I'm supposed to get a job, and now I'm married. I never got to do anything that was salacious or wild or what have you like that, and then they crave that. You get a lot of people who do that. I think if people like are making sure that people they settle down with, their value proposition, the value set is aligned, then they can kind of mitigate that happening. It's just like, because like both myself and my wife, we went out and we enjoyed life and had a good time. So we don't really miss wilding out like we used to. Nobody's sitting up there like, oh my God, I wish I could go hang out with the Wildcats that I used to hang out with or what have you. I think that's what happened when there's one person who never got to do anything. You got to be worried that they may be like, man, I never got to, go on a twerk on a yacht, so I want to do that. So that's where I think people kind of screw themselves if they just try to, they try to get with people and not really align, like I said, their experiences to the line experiences.
Yeah, go ahead, M3. I know you got to go.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry about that.
No, I just had to head out, but I just want to just wish everybody like a good night. Thanks for the invitation, Will, and you guys definitely have a great panel. So salutes to everybody that's up here. So hopefully I get a chance to come up again, man, and share my perspectives.
Hey, M3, I hope your night sucks. No, I'm playing.
You guys go to hell, but nah.
Keep in touch.
All right,
yeah, definitely. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace.
Hey, I had a question I want to ask Pomona. I think Pomona talked about it, and I think Feminine Dimension, you talked about it. Because when I had the conversation earlier about the good man, you guys said, I want him 70% good, but 30% bad. Can you explain what that bad is? I just, for the men out there, what is that 30% bad that you want him to do to you to make that dynamic work?
My question is why stable person or good person has to be boring, and why a good person cannot bring the spark in the relationship. Yes, we are committed. Yes, we are loyal to each other, but we also want adventure together. Why adventure has to be in the other side? The grass has to be always in the other side. Even it's our garden, we are still bringing the spark, bringing the fire, and also having our good values, good morals and loyalty. So why it cannot be balanced? That's my question. Why it has to be, whether I'm just choosing the boring person, that's what I want. I'm in 30s, I want the boring person. I don't want the boring person, and also I don't like the asshole. You have to be a combination of everything and own it, that yes, I have some sort of I'm not gonna give you all my cards or show you all my cards that yes, I'm a good person, you can just trust me and that's it, done deal, I'm never gonna leave you. Definitely you are not gonna leave your person, but don't just say it. Keep that little bit of mystery, keep that little bit of spark. That's what I meant by 30% bad. Don't give it all and show it all and make it okay, it's just boring, and it's just the other person knows everything about me and that's it. So there's nothing to explore. There's nothing like in a relationship, it's good to explore each other and know each other bit by bit, and that's really interesting and keeps it going. That's kind
Yeah.
of my.
Is there what? Because I know you're married, and for all the people watching right now, so we can kind of give them some advice. Like, what is one thing that you do in your marriage that gets that spark? That keeps that spark going.
Being unpredictable, but not in the serious situations. Like when it comes to something serious, something like I have to make serious decisions, I don't be adventure at that time. I don't put my unpredictability there. But of course, when I'm with my partner, he cannot just figure me out all the way. Like it's not like he knows. Like definitely certain parts he knows, which is also a beautiful thing about long-term relationship. That having that comfort, but I don't make him too much comfortable that he kind of knows everything, like that how to deal with me. So I keep that unpredictability a little bit where I'm dealing with him, but in serious matters, I keep it like whatever I have to do, I have to do. So yeah.
Okay. All right. No worries. Thank you for sharing that, Paroma. I'll pass it to you, feminine dimension. I know you talked about it earlier in the pod, but what do you meant by that? The certain dark qualities or bad boy qualities,
Yeah,
that you would want you would want your man to have.
I definitely had always a thing for bad boys, and it just they are exciting, thrilling. They keep the mystery. They play a good game. They're great in the sack, and I think they a man who has conquered his demons. It's not about no having demons. It's about having power over your demons. That's a good man, right? A dangerous man who knows that he can be dangerous, but he chooses to be good. And so it's a 50-50. I like devil and God in the same 50-50. It has to be good and bad. And it comes with a lot of challenges having a person like that, because sometimes you crave the qualities of the good boy. And so, but because I dated a lot before I settled. No, not gonna well settle with him. I met a lot of men who never met their shadow, or they were fighting their shadow. They were fighting that sort of the the player, the hunter, the dangerous person that exists within us all, right? Like a lot of people deny that, but we are half good, half bad. Period. The ones that pretend to be all good are fake. The ones that pretend to be like, oh, I'm good, I'm morals, values, you're fake.
I think you're real for that, feminine. Like you're real.
You're fake.
No,
You're
I
safe.
think you're. I think
I
you're happy
disagree.
here.
The
Yeah.
ones that say, "Oh, I want
I
respectful," are the most disrespectful ones, because that one that wanted women to
The
respect them
hypocrites.
called me a whore.
No.
And so
She has a point here. She
Let's
has a
go.
really good
he's
point
like,
here.
Let her
"Oh, I
finish.
want
Let her
women
let her
to
cook.
respect," and he called me
Yeah,
a,
go ahead.
and you don't respect women, so therefore women will not never respect you, because you have to be
That's false.
you respect, you earn it.
So let me just clarify that.
Let me just go on the panel, and I'll come back to you, fellas, because I just want to get the ladies' input on what
Can
they're
I
looking
clarify
for.
that real quick, Will?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So it's not gender specific. I think anybody who's operating with a roster is a whore. So men are whores when they're operating with rosters. Women are whores when they're operating with rosters. So it's not directed at you. It's just how I
Is
perceive
your
things.
opinion about that system? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much. Yeah, same thing, Nicole. We were talking about the bad boy. Women want a good guy, but also some bad qualities. What can you explain what those bad qualities are that you would want in your man?
No, I wouldn't want a bad boy. I want a good boy. I want a good man. I want a born man. I wouldn't find those things attractive. Like to me, if you want to go club and party and drink, that wouldn't be compatible to me. And I don't
No.
know if that would be like a bad boy. I would want a person that's focused on health, on their career, on self-improvement. And I guess, that would be considered what, a boring guy?
Yeah.
And we could just in my perfect world, we can just explore each other together, and our experiences would be like traveling and getting to know, like that would be us doing exciting things. But I for me, I don't think I would want like a bad boy.
Well, can I just say something real quick?
Okay.
All right. You know, there's this old proverb. It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. And I think that's the way women look at dating. You don't necessarily need your man to be wild, but you need to know he's capable of some shit. Like you want Nicole, you want that guy who wants to explore himself or whatever you and sit at home and just like be with you and just do like run of the mill routine shit. But you also want to know that if somebody steps
That
to
he's
you or
not a
smacks your
pussy.
butt, he
Absolutely.
can knock his head off his shoulder.
That is
You
true.
want to know that. So I'm saying that's what I think when that 30% is. You want a guy that you know has the capability to produce that. There's comfort and security in a guy who's seen
That's
and
true.
done some things. Because you feel like there's a multitude of situations that could happen, and he can possibly handle a variety of situations that where your safety may be in jeopardy.
Absolutely.
So I
To
think
me, right?
I think
It's a
everybody
masculine trait. Yeah.
I think women want like I said, they want a man who's seen and done some things because there's a security in that because they feel they can handle a multitude of situations. And I
Okay.
think that's kind of what a lot of people say. Because, like, if you got the most boringest guy, but you see a video of him when he was 20 years old knocking people out, you'd be like, okay, he can, or just doing stuff that was fun and crazy. You know, it's in him, and it's possible that if you decide you want to do something, he's not going to judge you for wanting to do something crazy or what have you. So,
Valid.
Okay.
That's
All
I
right.
think that's important. Yes. For a man, you're right. The masculine trait is attractive. And I think with that masculine trait comes like being tough, like being assertive, being a leader. I guess those are the bad boy traits that I would want. You're right. You're right.
It's not
Thank you
toxic
for
masculinity, but masculinity. Yeah.
yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Nicole. And then I pass it to Nadia. What's your response to that? Having a good man, but also those little bad boy qualities.
Well, I think I agree, when it comes to the masculine, right? So I will always want a man that is able to stand in his masculine and be a man, my man, right? So it's not about like I would never want to go back to dating like the bad boy. So the guy that's more inclined to cheat on me, that's more inclined to be emotionally charged towards me or just terrible, right? So there's nothing in that aspect of the bad boy quality that I find attractive. So like that 1 foot in, 1 foot out, never committing, never talking to me, never being there for me. So it's like, but a man being able to stand in his masculine, if that's considered like a bad boy trait, I mean, for sure. Then I wouldn't consider that a bad boy trait. I would just call that being a man. So it's like I know for a fact, and like it's because I have such a positive, strong male figure like my father in my life, where it's like I know that if me and my sister, my mom were out, and somebody tried to grab any one of us, he's knocking that guy's head off. Like there's no way that he's gonna let anybody grab us. Like we all feel safe when we're out with my dad. So I think that the quality of stepping in your masculine and having the capability to provide emotional and physical safety for your woman or a woman feeling safe with you, I don't feel like that's a bad boy quality. I really don't. I feel like that's a good man quality. So I mean, I wouldn't say that I really like the traditional bad boy qualities of stepping out on a woman, being abusive with a woman, in a way that's not consensual. I gotta elaborate. So, all those stuff I don't fuck with, but a man being in his masculine, absolutely. But I don't consider that a bad boy trait.
All right. Thank you so
True.
much, Nadia. That's a great break. That's actually a great breakdown the way you described that. Pass it to the fellas. Manic. Yeah. Anything you want to add on to that? The good guy, bad boy qualities.
Yeah, I got to take a shot back, when fired upon. So let me just start there. Feminine dimensions, right? So, you said you wanted a guy with God and the devil. I actually do read the Bible and try to follow it. I'm still human, so I do sin. But obviously there's a very popular saying, or not scripture, in the Bible where, you cannot serve two masters. So when I think about a relationship, I look for the good. I look for people serving God. I don't want to be part of any devilish shit, like knowingly. But I do understand grace, you know, when people make mistakes. So I don't try to hold anybody to this perfect ideal. Like I don't hold myself. I give myself grace. I think with you, no disrespect, but you're on the so far end of any type of woman that I would want to be around or even with, that like your opinion has no value to me with your perception of me. And I say that because I move authentically and I'm honest about things. And sometimes it does come, and sometimes it does. No, hold on. Let me finish talking. I let you finish talking. So let me just say, sometimes I do come off as an asshole. So feminine dimensions, are you going to allow me to continue? Because I didn't interrupt you when you said your thing. I waited for you to finish. And then I had my little comment at the end. So I'm almost done. I can wrap this up and land the plane. So what I'm just saying is I look at women who respect honesty. And sometimes it does come off a little bit harsh. But I avoid women who are traumatized and who believe that
disrespectful, and you expect women to respect you, and you show it in camera, and you call a woman on camera a whore. And let me tell you
I
something.
didn't call you a whore. I said women and men who have rosters are whores.
I think you are,
and you're right, feminine.
It's wrong.
You're right. I agree with you. I am an
You
asshole
are fake.
to people who don't understand honesty. See, look at that. Look at God at work.
Go ahead.
I just
go ahead.
Yeah.
Finish your point.
Yeah. So my point is, I mean, I do appreciate honesty and authenticity. And if somebody does call me an asshole or calls me out about something, like, hey, we can talk about it. We can, you know, we can explain it, or we can have dialogue about it. But that's just how I operate. And I don't believe people should be out here, you know, wasting people's time, you know, if you're trying to actually move with intention. And it's disingenuous to like promote that. That's it.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for sharing that, Manic. Go ahead, Jerk. What do you want to add on? Go ahead, Jerk.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I did like Nadia's point and even Nicole, where it was just like where they're breaking down. I think, you know, we do such a bad job on, I say, like in these conversations sometimes where we're talking about good and bad and masculinity, you know, bad boy and stuff. And I like what Nadia was breaking down, because it's just like that's typical man stuff. You know, a lot of times the people that claim to be bad boys and stuff, they're not in here training. You know, they're not the best fighters and stuff. Like, you know, I hit the gym and I train 3 times a week. I've been doing it for over 20 years. And the guys in there are not going out trying to fight people because they know who they are. They're pretty calm. They got a calm demeanor. I was a ranger, you know what I'm saying? So when you see those type of guys and they're the highest of masculinity, they're just calm. They go about their day, they're family people, and you mess with them, you know, you're going to have some issues. So I think sometimes we confuse a lot of those like behaviors, the people that's over the top, you know, that's putting on the show, they're loud in public. It's like that's really not a bad boy. That's just a dude that's just like fronting in front of everybody. So yeah, I think people need to be kind of cautious about what they're asking for, because, you know, a lot of times women's like, oh, you know, I do want this guy that, like, kind of what Feminine was breaking down, like he has to be 50-50. It's like, all right, well, when that comes in to your life, you invite that in your life and it bites you, you know, those are going to be the same people that like, oh, there ain't no good guys out here. So it's almost like it's a cyclical cycle where you invite it into your life. It kind of ruins things, and then you kind of complain about it. So it's just like, I like what Nicole and Nadia was saying, like, give me boring. Like,
I mean,
I'm
because
good with
me and
that.
Nadia believe that being masculine, that's being a man. You know, all of these traits, it's not a bad trait. It's not a bad boy trait. It's a man's trait.
Yeah.
And we expect for you to come in with that already.
Yeah, just be, but see, and this is a state of mind that you either evolve into or you don't. And you know, I know Manic was talking, he's like, I don't want traumatized women. And I hate to say this, but a lot of us have gone through significant, very, very terrible shit. And either we get through it or you don't. And I remember I still remember this conversation I had with my dad. I fucking love my parents. I still remember this conversation that I had with my dad. I think I was 14 years old. And I was heartbroken over this guy that I was just fucking in love with. And he, you know, I didn't always have these conversations with my dad, but occasionally, you know, he'd ask me because I was, you know, I was his youngest daughter. So he'd be like, baby, what's wrong? You know, and I'd tell him I was crying about this guy. And he, you know, he was like, well, he's like, you see, it's not what happens to you, it's what you do after, right? And I really do believe that. I have held on to that ideology because of how true it is. You know, all this horrible shit can happen to a lot of people, men and women, right? And it's what you do after. It's how you allow it to evolve or devolve your mindset that is going to matter. So it's like, you know how people joke around and they're just like, oh, you know, people that are into horoscopes, they you know, they'll punch you in the face and be like, haha, I'm a Virgo. You know what I mean? It's kind of the same concept. So it's just like, yes, a lot of people have undergone things like sexual assault or other things like that, right? But you can't consistently use that trauma to abuse a partner, either emotionally or physically, and say, oh, well, it's because of my trauma.
Exactly.
And this is coming from somebody, because I was sexually assaulted. I went through therapy. I went through all this, you know, emotional spring cleaning where I had to look into myself and how it was affecting me. Now, do I think that I did anything to deserve any of the terrible things that have happened to me in my life? No, I don't think I did anything to deserve any of those things. And I certainly don't believe in victim blaming or anything like that. But I do believe that you have an opportunity to use certain tools to move past it and evolve yourself emotionally as a person. It's going to take time and it's going to be really hard. And not every partner that you meet is going to be willing or able to work with you through those things, because and this is where compatibility comes in, right? You have to make sure that you are able to be with somebody that is able to be patient with you at the degree of patience that you might need. And not everybody is going to fit that quotient. They're just not. And that's kind of the rough go of things. It's, you're not going to be compatible with everybody else. Feminine did say that she wants, you know, somebody to, you know, whoever her partner is, to be equally acquainted with their demons, right? And all that jazz. I understand what she was saying, but I don't think that it was coming out the way that she intended. I think that when you are well acquainted with the part of yourself that you don't want a lot of people to see, you know, the part of yourself that is the least agreeable, you know, it really, it can shape you for the better, because, you know, people that have a lot to hide within themselves emotionally have a lot of internal struggles and battles. And you can see that in, you know,
Yeah, I agree with
what
that.
they call is like the boring guy, or, you know, a guy that might be, you know, a little bit more quiet or may not want to, you know, everybody has their little things. Nobody's perfect. Nobody is this visage of angelic perfection of male or female. It's either you've had a chance to work through whatever struggles you've had throughout your life to this point, or you haven't. And people will get to their 40s and 50s and still not have gone through that emotional spring cleaning to understand, why do I get so pissed that I'm flipping tables all the time? Why do I have
They
a bad
project.
temper? Yeah,
Yeah,
why
they
do I
Yeah.
have a
project.
bad why do I have a bad temper? Why am I always so angry? Why do I have so much distrust in others? Because at the
Because
end
they
of the
haven't
day, I
done
can
the
tell you
inner work.
exactly, at the end of the day, and this is my thought process. And there's a lot of gorgeous celebrities out there, right? Like Jennifer Lopez or Beyonce, or people that have a whole team of people working to make them perfect from head to toe, right? 24/7, and they get cheated on. At the end of the day, if somebody is going to cheat on you or be
They're gonna cheat
dishonest
on
with
you.
you, they are
Mhm.
going to cheat on you. They're going to be dishonest with you. It has nothing to do with what you bring to the table, has nothing to do with how attractive you are, it doesn't have anything to do with how much money or how successful you are. It has everything to do with their moral character on the inside. And if they're all fucked up on the inside, it doesn't matter how perfect you are as a person. It doesn't matter how wonderful you are as a
Amen.
person. It doesn't. It really doesn't. And people sometimes they go on the inside and they're just like, man, you know, I've had all these terrible relationships. Everybody is so terrible. Blah 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 blah. What did I do? Why am I not perfect? Or why is it? you can only control yourself.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
But
Hey,
real quick,
Nadia,
Will,
Nadia,
I like what she was definitely saying. But you know, just kind of not you guys, but just when I listen to people, you know, because I try to make sure I pause and listen. And then it's just like, man, you got to be careful. And I think this was a good topic, Will, because it's just like, I think so many people, when we're listening, you know, we do a lot of panels, whether, you know, on Dame's channel over here, you know, me and Manny did them. People invite so much, you know, bad shit in their life. And I like when Manic kind of gave a little bit of push on there. It's like, you know, maybe she did kind of misspeak on the devil and whatever reference, but it's just like, man, boring is safe. Like, I get it. You know, find different productive things to do with yourself, whether it's like, you know, go hit the gym, challenge yourself, man, get it educated, do something. And I think people a lot of times that are always like bored and, you know, have issues with other people when they're not adventurous, whatever. It's just like, man, they don't have no outlets for themselves, no positive ones. So that's why they get distracted and they got to be entertained by other people. And they always just have that emptiness inside of them. So really that's what it is. And they just start pulling anybody in their life. And that's what, you know, bad shit tends to happen. So it's just like, man, you can't have it all. Like, if you honestly say you want a good person, man, you better really quantify that and define what good characteristics are and pull that right person into your life. If not, then you're going to have some bullshit. You're going to have some issues, and it's you. You're the problem at the end of the day. Stop blaming everybody damn else.
All right,
You are what you attract.
Thank you so much, Jerk. I just had before we conclude, I just had a question for the married people on the panel. I have a quick question for everybody, real quick. Do you guys outside of infidelity, outside of physical abuse, outside of like alcohol and drugs and the most extreme examples, do you guys believe in divorce? Divorcing?
Yeah.
So outside of those reasons, so outside of infidelity, outside of physical, emotional abuse, outside of like alcoholism and, you know, stop working and losing his job and being broke, like all those things, like, do you guys believe in today's society that we can just get married and then divorce for any reason and then move on to the next best thing?
You know what? I feel like people, and I know that a lot of people don't agree with me on this, but I really feel like people give up too quick. If it's not anything to do with an ultimate betrayal of trust or safety.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned those things, right? So
yeah.
outside of those reasons,
yeah,
do you
I
guys
just don't-
believe that we can get divorced outside of those reasons?
I feel like you should
Yeah.
have the option, but I feel like
Yeah.
you should probably give it a really good try.
Work on it. Work on it. Go to therapy. Work
Yeah,
on it.
Savannah.
before you
Try
quit.
everything. Don't just give up.
None of the
went
married
through a
people
whole
answering.
wedding.
Yeah.
So for the sake of the time, I just want to, the reason why I asked this question, because we're talking about always finding better as the grass always greener. There's a whole demographic of men and women getting divorced after long periods of time, after having children, and trying to find somebody that's going to take your situation. And a lot of times, I think that's why it's important to have this conversation. You know, if you find it, you know, if you are in a long-term relationship, if you have children, that is going to be hard to go out there back into the dating world and restart again and find somebody that's going to love you, but also find if you have kids in your previous marriage. But I think a lot of people don't think about that. I agree with Nadia. Outside of those reasons, people are not willing to put in the work and try and give up too easily. And they think, because in social media perpetuates the idea, oh, there's always somebody better for you. There's always somebody out there in the world that'll take you. It's easier when you're single and you're young, but when you're married and you're older, you have children, that's a different situation. But people have the idea, oh, I can always, regardless of the situation I am, regardless how many kids I have, regardless how long my relationships, I think I can always find somebody to take me. So I just want to ask the people in the pool are married, what keeps you making sure that I'm going to stay in my marriage, even though we're living in a society that tends to promote divorce? Because we live in a society that's not based on marriage no more. It's based on, there's so much content out there that says, you get divorced, just move on, find the next best thing. It's okay. And that's the society we live in. So I just want to ask the married people on the panel before we conclude, what keeps you to stay in your marriage, even though we live in a society that's pro-divorce, that's pushing people to find something better if you're not satisfied with the partner, even though you've been with that person for 10, 15, 20 years, which is happening. People are getting divorced after 20 years and going back to the dating market. And like that clip in the beginning, Tia Mowry, she found out that 14 years ago, the dating market today is not the same compared to 14 years ago. And she thought that the grass was greener, but now she realized she had a great thing in her marriage. And maybe if she only would have worked a little bit harder, not given up on her marriage, she would still be in a good marriage compared to what she sees right now being single. So let me start with Paroma. I know you're married, and I'll come back to everybody else, Damien and Jerk, because I know you guys are married. But Paroma, what keeps you in your marriage?
That's a great question, actually, because I have experienced it quite a lot. There were a time divorce was so cool thing and so trendy that I got so many questions that, oh, I'm maybe settling. And the way social media was raising questions, I used to always ask questions internally that okay, I'm maybe settling, or I've settled quite early because I have married quite early. So those kind of questions came to my mind, and I was like, another important thing was if you are married, you cannot be successful as a partner. Men always take over when you are married. So that kind of things also come up. When I got married, everyone was like, okay, that's it. Your career is done. Whatever potential you had, everything is done. Now you're just going to settle. So as an independent woman, I don't really like that kind of situations when people kind of project that. So those kind of things came to my mind. But what made me stay was definitely the person I am with. He is very active with for my growth as well. I mean, he's not just focused on his growth. He's doing his career perfectly, but he's also equally prioritized that. I am an independent person and I have some individuality, and I also care about who I am as a person rather than just his wife or his partner. And he cares about those things. So those are very important traits in a man. And no matter what society says, oh, she's just married, why she needs to do such kind of things, and he stands up for it. That's what I say, bad traits in a man. Maybe that's not the appropriate term, but bad things as in having that masculinity, not being a pushover, yes, I'm a good man, I'm just always following my parents' rules and everything. I mean, being a person, what is right, standing up for it. I mean, having that bad aspect, that dark aspect, I would say. It's not bad, it's dark aspect. No, I'm not all good. I'm listening to everyone, doing all the right things just for how many people you can impress, so you have to have those kind of values that what are important for you and your partner. So standing up for those things, I have seen he has been through it all. That made me stay, actually, and not give up on it.
Aww.
All right, thank you so much. All right, shout out to you, Paroma. Pass it to you, Damien. I know you're married. What keeps you staying? What keeps you in your marriage, even though we live in a society that's anti-marriage?
Yeah. All right. I want to answer both questions that you asked first time, because, like you were saying, is divorce something that should be? I think divorce is viable. I think what it is because I've expressed it. This is my second marriage. I've been with my wife 18 years. We've been together. We've been married 16 years. But my first marriage, I was with my wife 11 months, and our marriage lasted 11 months because I shouldn't have got married. I hadn't done the work in order to be a husband yet. So I think that's when I think
that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I think there are situations where I think divorce is the best thing for both people. I'm in a phenomenal marriage and she's in a great marriage right now. If we would have stayed together, we would have been fucking miserable, which could have made us jaded and could have really affected our ability to find somebody significant and live these great lives that we're living now. So I'm saying if you find something there's a forever thing switch that you both need to have, and it needs to be turned on at the same time and have the same long-term focus. And if both people don't have it, and then people are getting married for the wrong reason. People get married because of pressure. They get married because of religion. They get married because they're tired of the game. So if you get married for the wrong reasons, you start to recognize that you don't have what it takes to be 100% invested in this marriage, I think you should separate and give that person an opportunity to find somebody better. So with that being said, is my situation is I just feel like I took the time, and I've said this before, to kind of really develop what my value set was. The things that I needed for a long-term relationship, things that I felt like were going to carry me for the rest of my life. I realized that, okay, I'm not making this mistake I did. I'm going to know who I am, and I'm going to know who that person is before I get married. We're going to make sure that we talk about all the things. We have all the conversations. We agree on 80% of the things, and the other 20% we can either compromise or we can just realize they're not important and just don't make it a part of our situation. So we have had many discussions. I'm transparent. You know, I've been married for 16 years. I say I've been productively married for about 11. The first 5 years, we were still trying to figure each other out, and it could have went either way had we not have this. If we hadn't taken the time to realize we both want this marriage and we both see where it can go. So those are the things that we had to do. We got the help when it was necessary, and I just feel like I couldn't imagine the rest of my life without this person, not because of the stuff she does, but because who I am with her. You know, so that's what keeps me in there. And, you know, we have these discussions and she says the same thing. She was like, I couldn't, you know, we joke about the people we were with before and imagine if I would have been married to that person, how my life would have changed and turned out or what have you. I just think we built a phenomenal life, and it would just seem just stupid if, you know, to give that up and go to a situation that's desperate and dumb, you know? You know, that's what I think my life would be. Should I leave her, especially the situation like, you know, if I'm younger and you get a divorce, you can bounce back. But we got 3 kids together. Who want to do all that? And who wants to do that to the kids? You know, who wants to not fight? You know, because, you know, you get on my nerves for a day and a half. You know, it's just one of the things is we are dedicated to the relationship. The relationship comes first than any of our individual selfish needs or things like that. So those are the things what we kind of do to like make sure we in this for the long haul, that we will never get a divorce. Like I said, if I'm here talking about as a single person dating, that means my wife done died. You know, so that's kind of how it is.
Okay.
That's beautiful. That's your person, and you both recognize that, and you're both gonna always work on it, and that's the blueprint.
Yeah. And Damien forgot to add the secret sauce, right? The lasagna that she makes. You know?
Oh my God, the lasagna with 6 different cheeses. I mean, but that's a metaphor for there's certain thing that she does just because for her husband. She's never made it before. She found a recipe and she said, "Hey, what?" I was like, "I would love it." So I'm gonna make you this lasagna. I found a recipe for, and now that's my lasagna. Like if like I said, if I die and she make that lasagna, she's making her another man's lasagna. you seriously, like there's an old joke. It was like, there's women out there making other men's sandwiches. If she make you a sandwich and don't ask you how you want it, that's another man's sandwich. You know?
That's facts.
Damn. Now I'm gonna question everything the girl cooks for me. Hey, what is
Seriously.
All right, thank you so much, Damien. Yeah, great perspective. And then Dirk, well, you know, you're married too. What keeps you in your marriage and not let society influence you to go find something better?
I did want to go back to the first part as far as when you was asking, like, should you divorce besides the other things? And I think, yeah, it should be on the table. Somebody disrespects you. They're not kind of reciprocating, I'll say, like the attraction and stuff. They just kind of acting like they don't want to be with you. And then also, I think if somebody's trying to derail your vision, because it's like, if you're sitting there, you're trying to build everybody up, you're trying to leave like a legacy and stuff, and they're just like, want to go blow the money and spend it in other, like, man, they got to go. So I'll say in them cases also, like, yeah, you're in your bounds if you get a divorce in them, like, different lanes and stuff. But just I'll say one of the major things while I'm still, you know, in a relationship, first of all, I'm just one of them people, like, if I shake your hand, whether it's business, whatever, and I make that contract with you, I'm going to honor it. unless like it falls in them territories. So I'm just a man of my word. I always kind of been like that. Then also I just respect, the commitment part. And also I valued my wife other than just like basic things that I think sometimes people get into relationships where they're just like, okay, I just want this other person because they're fine, whatever. But it was like her mindset, she was very intelligent, just a ride or die type chick. So she just had a lot of great qualities outside of just, like I said, the physical attraction that, when we were sitting down talking, it was just a different conversation. So she just kind of stuck out at that moment. So yeah, I'll say that that's the main things that, kind of kept me, that's keeping me married still.
Oh, you forgot one thing. She could put up with your bullshit.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
That's very important.
Patience and
That's
mutual
very
respect.
That is very important. All right. All right, but yeah, we have come to the end. Thank you so much for everybody that's been watching so far. Shout out to the panel real quick. All right. Shout
I
out
just
to
want to put
everybody
my
on the
2 cents
panel.
in. I want to put my 2 cents in about divorce. I think marriage should
Go
be
ahead. Go ahead.
forever. I think marriage should be forever, but don't fucking let anybody disrespect you. We live in a
Facts.
progressive era, and you better be out the door if any of those things are not aligned anymore. I've always told my friends I might be that 50-year-old lady that has had 4 husbands because I'm a married girly, like I do want to get married again. But the second that I sense, something disrespectful, I'm divorcing you, baby. I'm not wasting my time with you.
Then
I
don't get
already
divorced. Don't get divorced. If you ain't ready to fight for it, you don't want it bad enough. If you ain't ready to
no,
be
but
like, what is
what if they
behind the
disrespect me?
disrespect? No,
Yeah,
so I'm saying
yeah.
if you're not, what's behind the disrespect? If you're not saying, you know what, if you're not spelling it out and saying you're disrespecting me, there's I need you to work on that. I need you to do the work to figure it out so you can stop doing that because I'm not getting what I need out of the relationship because you're disrespecting me. So if you value me, I need you to do that. I want you to do that because there is a consequence to you. Even if I stay, you don't get 100% of me. But you need to do the work, and then you need to give that person the opportunity to do the work. Don't get me wrong. If they say "fuck you," I ain't never doing the work. It's
No,
all
like
on
if I
you.
was to get
I
hit,
understand.
Yeah.
if I
Wait,
was
hold
to
on.
Oh
get
no,
Let
listen.
cussed
me just.
Oh,
out,
oh yeah,
if I was to
Yeah.
get
That
Go
part.
cheated
ahead, bro.
on,
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm leaving. Like there's
Yeah, 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 yeah. I
no
Yeah.
hear you
room
on
for
that.
me
I
to
hear
do
you on
the
that.
work
No, no,
anymore.
no infidelity, no physical abuse,
Yeah,
no
yeah.
drug
Yeah, yeah,
use.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nah,
All right.
Nicole, I'll just say something really quick. I agree with you 100% on that. Because someone who understands the commitment of marriage, you're going to have those conversations, and that's where I had the pushback of like, hey, 3 months you'll determine if somebody's disrespectful. No, sometimes it takes 3 years for you guys to be in a situation to where like they do something and you're like, hey, that's disrespectful. Maybe it's not to the highest degree of disrespect, but
right.
it's something that doesn't sit well, and you guys can have that conversation so in the future it doesn't resurface. So yeah, if you never should get married with the understanding that, oh, I'm gonna get a divorce, if something goes wrong. Like, no. And I think that's how Dane was taking it at first, but um you should absolutely have all those conversations, and this is where the maturity and communication really comes into play, to where you can really outline, hey, the core values, the you know set the parameters so that you guys don't even come close to those
Yeah,
you
that's
know
important.
those boundaries of like irreversible
Yeah.
you know
All right.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much, Manik. But ladies, thank you so much, fellas. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for the open, real, unfiltered, raw conversations. Also, just want to give a shout out to Feminine Dimension. If she's watching this right now, thank you for making the time. Like I said, we're gonna agree on a lot of things, but we're also gonna disagree a lot of things. We're just here to share our perspectives, and I just wanted people to understand that just because we agree or disagree doesn't necessarily mean that there's any personal things on this platform. So I appreciate you guys for always having the open conversation. Shout out to everybody in the live chat. But I'll pass it back to you guys. What's your final thoughts from tonight's pod? Thank you so much for making the time. And how can they find you and support you on your platforms? I'll start with you, Nicole. Thank you so much for making the time. What's your final thoughts from tonight's convo, and how can they find you?
I think I learned a lot. I think everyone has really good, strong opinions. I really fucked with Feminine's opinion. I think she's a very fearless woman, and I love that. I didn't side with a lot of the things she said. That's not how I would live my life, but I love that for her. And there's many other people that run that way. I learned so much from you guys as well. I could give you guys my Insta. Sorry, I'm old. I don't know about memory. You
All
guys
good.
can follow me on Instagram at I love tacos 112x. And I'll also put it in the chat.
All right.
Best.
All right.
And then
All
I
right.
would love to stay connected with you guys as well. If you guys want to put your socials in the chat, I will.
Yeah, put the socials in
hit
the
a
private
follow.
chat, y'all.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
follow
yeah.
you.
That works better.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you so much, Nicole. I'll pass it to you, Paroma. Paroma, thank you so much. Your perspective, being married, I definitely appreciate what you added to the conversation. But what's your final thoughts, and how can they find you?
It was a great conversation. Everyone had different perspective, and I personally believe in agreement and disagreement, and everyone can have different opinion. But also, I don't believe in personally attacking on someone. And however honest we are, we can be a little bit kinder to someone else's perspective. However unique and individualistic that person is, and even if she doesn't fit in the crowd, we can be still little bit of more respectful to that person. And other than that, I really love the conversation, everyone's opinions. And you can find me on social media, all social media platforms. Everything is like has the same name. It's Poroma Nandini. I think Will has my account.
Yep. Yeah, I got your information.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
All right, Paroma, thank you so much for making the time. Nadia, go ahead. What's your final thoughts? You're definitely dropping a lot of gems tonight on this pod.
I officially had to put my hair up because I'm like, oh God, I have to be up at like 5 tomorrow morning. But I had a lot of fun, talking with all of you guys. I think that all of you had amazing insight to add. This was really fun. I had a lot of fun. I do agree that we need to remain kind with our words and understand our intention behind them. When it comes to voicing our opinion, it should be respectful. However it comes out on both sides, right? Understanding that our words do have an impact. So remaining kind and honest, can coexist. You can be kind and honest at the same time without intentionally hurting somebody's feelings. But I feel like my socials are all over the goddamn place. So you know what? I feel like the easiest one to give everybody is my Instagram, which is, and I don't want anybody to laugh at my Instagram handle because it's kind of funny, but it's Young Papacita and Young is YUNG, so Young Potato Girl, I guess you could say. So Young Papacita is my Instagram name. That's the best place to find me because that's where I post all my memes.
All right, thank you so much, Nadia. It was great to have you on. Fellas, thank you so much for making the time. Final thoughts and how can they find you? I'll start with you, Manik. Final thoughts and how can they find you, Manik?
Final thoughts. A great conversation. I appreciated all the ladies' opinions, even feminine. Yeah. Because I mean, she does represent a group of women out there that operate that way, and I just had to keep it, 100 because I feel like so many times we get into spaces where everybody agrees with us, and it kind of like just promotes something that, if you are surrounded by yes men or yes women, then you'll never really grow and learn and really understand how people from the outside perceive things. And so I just believe in giving, a raw and authentic opinion and just operating in authenticity when it comes to, certain things that I just disagree with. But I do understand there's nuance and, I could have handled things a little bit more kind. But, that's the kind of thing that when you get on these podcasts, you're not always going to get kind. You're going to get a lot worse if she would have went to other places. So I'll just end it with that. And you can follow me on IG at the Manic Genius. Definitely was operating in more of the manic mode tonight rather than the genius side. So I definitely love coming on these podcast panels and just having a good time and learning. And Definitely learned a lot.
All right. Thank you so much, Manic. Jerk, final thoughts. Thank you for jumping on again. How can they find you, Jerk?
Yeah, y'all can find me on pretty much Thursdays. I'll be over here on Will's panels. So we got a show, Masculine Mindset, where women could pull up and ask us questions and stuff like that. Also, I go on Dames on Tuesday, and on my channel, the Manic Sophistication channel, we do a lot of like reviews, lives and stuff. But great show, Will, man. I think it was a great topic. Manic, you just got work on using some of them words. We was having a good discussion. You kind of derailed it, but we forgive you for your fuckery.
I appreciate y'all.
But other than that, women, y'all had a great perspective. I think even feminine, but it did get a little triggering a little bit because, one of the things that like I wanted to get a little deeper conversation was like we have a lot of dating coaches sometimes, or they call themselves that. And it's just like they give terrible advice based on certain things. And I just think, man,
the TikTok community nowadays, like
so
like, the silent treatment, man, fuck all that shit. Like what?
Yeah.
But it's just like, man, things are bad out here. And it's just like, man, you can't invite it in your life. So that's where I agree with Manic to a certain degree, where it's like, man, we got to take the gloves off a little bit because, man, we just hear so many people with trauma and stuff. And, a lot of times they're bringing bad people in their lives and stuff. So it's like, as guys, man, we operate from a different values and standards where we're like, nah, man, you can't be moving like that. That's how, people get jaded, and that's why everybody's bitter. So, that's why we do get pushback. But Manic, we do got to clean it up, bro.
Yeah, I got you.
All right. Thank you so much, Jerk. Always good to have you on the panel. And Damien, thank you for jumping as a guest. Appreciate you. Always dropping knowledge, man. Always dropping knowledge. Final thoughts. How can they find you?
Yeah, it was a great show. I gotta say, Roma, I appreciate you classing up the joint. Really, Nicole, thank you for your energy and your insights, which is dope. And Nadia, I mean, perfect balance between thoughtful insights and motherfucker. I've never seen somebody master it so perfectly. I gotta give you that, and I feel that because I'm a motherfucker user quite a bit. And
I'm so sorry. Sometimes I really can't control it.
I'm the same way. I said on my podcast, my dad looked like Samuel Jackson. That's probably why I say motherfucker so much. But yeah, it is a great show. If you want to follow me, my IG is Can I Get Some Podcast. I do a show every Tuesday, 9:00. Can I Get Some Podcast? And I'm probably gonna follow all you guys. And I'm here on Thursdays, definitely the Masculine Mind. And shit, sometimes I get up on Wednesday even when Will don't invite me. But just to show some love. But it's been a great show. I appreciate you guys.
It's been good meeting you guys. Thank you so much for creating this. It was real.
No worries.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely real.
Yeah, we keep it, like I said, we keep it real, unfiltered, and raw. That's what happens. We have this discussion. So, but thank you so much, everybody on the panel. Thank you so much. A lot of you guys watched the entire stream on the chat. Thank you so much for participating. But see you guys next time. New week, new topic, new panel. Everybody, you guys have a great night.
Have
Peace.
a good night, everyone.
All right, bye.
Peace.
Peace.